All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging Part 2. We are playing Hunter the Reckoning tonight. We are continuing our chronicle, Your City Lies in Dust. We had a little false start, but I think things are fixed. If people want to give us the severed thumbs up, thank you, Ashley, in the chat. You can hear us, ready to go. But yeah, we're continuing Hunter. We had an interesting session. We were talking about that just before we got on, how things might have gotten harder recently as some things have changed. We'll get into the summary briefly. But yeah, we've been off air for I guess a week, almost 2 weeks now. So I've forgotten where certain buttons are, and it's possible I didn't unmute my mic, and now I did. So there's that. So anyway, let's do some intros. Tell us who you're playing, and what's going through your character's mind. I guess we could say. So we'll start with Long. Long, tell us about old Alvin.
Yes, Alvin. He's 30 years in the martial training of judo. He's got a wife, a kid, and he's tackled this eyeballed creature one time already. Got nice and close. Kind of plans on revisiting that.
Okay, you want to? Yeah, you did like a suplex from the top of a train, and you dropped him down, and he got away, he snuck away. What was that? So that is like we actually, I think I shared this before, but I've changed the overlay slightly so we can kind of put so like the audience can see some of the images now. So like yeah, the first real monster that they tackled. I mean that both literally and more metaphorically, was the Eye Thief, which is actually in the book. So if you get Hunter the Reckoning, the H5 book, you can see it. I am ruthlessly taking the art from the book and showing it here. But that is, that's what they encountered. Didn't kill it, roughed it up a little bit, but then it sped the hell away super fast. And now we're kind of trying to figure out how to get back to it. What's going on? Yeah, so many eyes. Okay, Ashley, you're up next. Tell us a little bit about Elaine.
I'm Elaine Graves, and she's a rather severe woman. She doesn't really socialize too much as she's used to. She's from Georgia. She's a transplant to Arizona. So she's not used to how unfriendly her neighbors can be. But she's still determined to press her kindness upon them, whether it's unwilling or not.
Yeah.
But other than that, she is a little bit of a corporate drone, you could say. She has left that world. She works at a startup now, but she hasn't updated her wardrobe. She still goes to the gym at the same time every day if available. She is a bit of a creature of habit.
Okay. And you have a heart of gold, sort of, like we've seen, as you'd want to help out your neighbor. But your neighbor, Mr. Ponder, is... I guess I just keep doing this. Am I going to the well too often with like I take your contacts and just have them go missing? Like he wandered off in the night at some point.
Yeah, he does have dementia, so hopefully he gets the help that he needs finally from his family.
That's not what's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. And it might not get better because that's how it works. It's Hunter. So, I mean, like, it can't have anything good happen.
You got to be emotionally scarred somehow.
Yeah. I like to beg you all to create contacts that you're like connected to and like you feel good about just so I can hurt you in different ways. Yeah. It's the best example of that is what I've done to Aaron's. One of Aaron's contacts is poor old Brock Davies. But Aaron, tell us about Quixote Rust.
Yeah, they call me Quixote Rust. It's not my name. I don't remember my name. I was 9 years old when something forced its way down into my soul and started driving my body like a puppet. I killed my whole family. And then they put me away in some institute for the criminally insane. And I spent the next 10 years in there. And every once in a while, the thing that was eating away at me from the inside would let me free just so I knew how horrible my life was. But finally, Sister LeBlanc, she believed. She believed the new doctor, and they got that thing out of me. But in case you're wondering, when a 9-year-old gets possessed and kills his family and it gets put away and has virtually no control over his body for a decade, he's got some issues. He's got some, you could say, serious problems with impulse control, and he has no coping mechanisms. So if you're expecting this 20-year-old soldier in the war against the unseen to act rational, you're probably asking a little bit too much.
Those are all fair points. I would say, I don't know if I would say like some of the actions that Quixote has demonstrated are irrational. Like all of them make sense, I think, in their own sort of strange logic. They make sense. So
To him,
a lot of
they all
emotion.
to
do.
him,
Fueling.
they make a sense to me
Yeah.
too. I think they made sense. Like I think there's some interesting things. It was great. We'll see. We'll see see
Not
what
necessarily
those repercussions go.
tactical choices, but choices that make sense.
Consequences could be interesting. Yeah, Vilsa and I were talking today, and I'm like, he's only like 20, right? And you're like over twice his age. Isn't your character in your 40s, Maria? Yeah.
She's in her 50s, actually. I
You're in her
believe.
50s. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, you made it a long time for a hunter. It's time for.
Oh
to
no,
take you all
no,
out.
sorry, 45. You're right.
45. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still the oldest, I think. It's still
Yeah.
the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, then tell us a little bit about Maria.
Yeah, so she is the blue collar inquisitive of the group. So she is kind of into kind of the building drones and kind of doing all of that kind of stuff. Short reddish hair, wears overalls. She's a plumber by trade. Her mentor, who's also a hunter, has gone off somewhere for a little bit. And something that I don't know when this is going to come up, but it was part of like character creation. Like one of the questions is that one night a panicked man ran by me and whispered, "The rabbits have all the answers."
Okay.
So
Sorry, I didn't catch all of that. I was checking. I just got spammed with messages. I don't know what's going on with our friend Steven who's stuck somewhere on the I-10 right now. Is that what's going on?
yes, it does appear
Okay.
that
Yeah.
yep,
I'm sorry.
that happens on those long stretches.
Yeah, it does. All right. Why don't we get back into this? So I got a little summary. Let's see what happened last time. So you all have been kind of scrambling a bit after a blackout in Phoenix, Phoenix area after a horrible dust storm, a crazy haboob dust storm, and had swept over the valley, and some weird stuff has happened since. The most notable being that Brock Davies, friend of Quixote here, he's gone. He went missing originally. You did manage to locate him, but he had been the victim of some sort of monster attack that took his eyes out. And you managed to save him, bring him to the hospital, leave him there, but leaving him at that hospital, he wasn't necessarily out of danger yet, as you all revisited the hospital last time. And so you came to this place called Valleywise Health Medical Center. You were waiting for Sister LeBlanc to kind of organize a meeting with another victim of this eye thief. Like a 16-year-old kid named I think it was West Landon or Jonathan Landon. Like you were waiting for her to try to organize a meeting. So you all went and wanted to sort of check in on Brock Davies. And because Maria and Quixote had already been there before, it was Alvin and Elaine's turn to go inside the hospital to check on him. And you went to his room. You found Lindsay, who is who works at the homeless shelter, probably second in command, so to speak. She's there. She's been there the whole time since Quixote kind of called her and said, "Got to get down here to watch him." The doctors took Brock away for an MRI. Everything seemed normal to her. There's no reason to suspect anything strange. But when Elaine and Alvin went looking, you notice that, first of all, there's an increased presence of lockroom control security forces, which is like this private security group that seems to somehow be tied up in parts of this. And you were unable to find Brock. Like, you actually got to the MRI room and he wasn't there. You actually had a confrontation with one of the control security agents, inside a elevator. Alvin was able to knock him out. Elaine took his gun, and then you left his body on a patient bed in the middle of a hall somewhere. Later on, I think Elaine triggered a missing patient code, so the hospital kind of got going a little crazy at that point. As you all were trying to kind of like cover your escape. Basically, it was the sort of the plan there, if I recall. But you noticed something else that was very strange. You noticed that in the basement of this hospital, one of these basements, you noticed that there was this guarded security door that it looked different than the others. It looked, in some way, it almost looked like, like something that you would see in like Star Trek, with like this opening up and then closing up, and then there was like an actual like checkpoint as well, that where it was manned. It was manned by one of these security agents, and you saw a patient bed being wheeled in. You caught the tail end of that before it closed. So that was one side of last session. The other side was Quixote and Maria. You all noticed that nearby the hospital was Valley MedCorps. Valley MedCorps you had learned about as a mobile med van unit that was helping some of the homeless in the area, and it was run by someone by the name of Dr. Wendell Drebin. You all decided to go visit the headquarters, and you managed to finagle a meeting with Dr. Wendell Drebin. You went in, you do like an office or the conference area. You saw all these different degrees. You saw these pictures, these photos of the walls with like politicians and movers and shakers and the business titans of the valley and the area. And when you started to converse with them, you both got the feeling that something was going on. Meaning, like, there was like this compulsion, this almost this attempt to try to get you all to like him and believe him and do what he says. You managed to resist it. Rust used one of his abilities. Was it repel the unnatural? Or was it thwart?
Yep.
It was repel, right?
Yeah, repel. Thwart's the new one that he picked up with his XP after the encounter.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's
it triggered his ability, basically.
Right. And there were some veiled and not so veiled threats that were exchanged, but you all were you were let out. But you definitely get the sense that Drebin is prompt now that he knows that Brock is so important to you, and he's going to take extra special care of him for you. He's going to make sure he's going to check in on him for you, and that's where we ended. So why don't we say, do we want to start up with you all just to make it simpler? Like, we'll say Elaine and Alvin, you get out of the hospital using the cover of this missing patient code, and Quixote and Maria, you had already left. So we'll say, just to get things moving, you all rejoin each other out in the parking lot outside the hospital. You do see that, again, there is a greater security presence than there was prior. But yeah, we'll say the four of you meet up. It's probably midday. And we'll go from there. What do y'all want to do?
Elaine, Alvin, was Brock okay? Are they going to release him?
We didn't get sight of him at all. We have no idea what they're doing with him.
What do you mean?
I mean, you heard over open comms that he wasn't in his room. And then he wasn't in line to get the x-rays completed. I raised the alarm that there's a patient missing. And I'm waiting for him to get brought back to the room, and Lindsay's gonna call us.
Well, okay. If you think that'll work, that's okay.
Alvin and I did punch. Alvin punched one of the security detail, so it's a little hot right now.
Well, we had a interesting encounter with the doctor as well. And Maria just sort of looks sidelong at Rust.
He's a false face. He's wearing the face of a human, but he's the enemy. One of the enemy. He could not stand against the righteous power of our will. But he was too strong for us to overcome there.
Thinking so clearly the doctor knows that we're onto him. think that's pretty well known at this point. And it seems like the hospital knows that something is going on because we've
I don't know.
punching people in elevators and whatnot.
Yeah, because they're not police, but they're leading you to believe that they're police. Did you see any of the security that was here over at the doctor's office?
No, you guys didn't see
No,
anything.
no. Just a
You have-
receptionist. But
There's cars, like you even looking
Mhm.
around now, like I'll say like retroactively, like you all have seen cars on the road, like you've seen what you probably would assume are law enforcement vehicles, but when you look at like this like the vehicles that are in this parking lot, it's got that same array. Like you see some like sort of sedan styles, like some like what looks like Charger styles, you know, the muscle car styles, some like the more SUV styles, the same sort of array that you would get from just a regular Metro Police. You see the same thing here, and the coloring, the lettering, and all kind of, you know, this when you think of like the Rent-A-Cop stuff, like this seems more impressive, or at least seems more intimidating in some ways. And Alvin and Elaine, you saw one close up, like he was like the guy you fought was capable. Like this wasn't just some sort of mall, you know, like mall security guard Paul Blart type of thing. Like it took it. You guys broke a sweat, like, and it was just one of him, you know, one of them that you had to deal with.
for
they-
military
they-
defense
yeah.
contract kind of.
I would say Alvin, you would probably get that kind of feel, like whoever this is has some serious training.
Russ,
So
I
then
know that
frontal
you're
assault?
looking- I don't think so. I know that's what you're wanting to do, and I get that you are trying to find your friend. I totally get that. But I think we've tried the straight on. At the hospital, we tried the straight on. The doctor. I think we might need to use our heads a little bit. Try to gather some information. Come at them sideways.
You're right, Maria. It's the same thing that Sister LeBlanc would say. You're right. I'm sorry I blew our cover back there.
Hearts
They
in
just
the right
make me
place.
so angry. But you're right. You're right. We need to figure out what's going on here.
So, what's next? I still want to speak to your sister LeBlanc, to be honest.
Oh, we can go. We can go to the Basilica. I mean, that's where she'll be.
Maybe she'll have been able to get in touch with the father and son, and maybe we can go have a conversation.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. Maria, can I borrow your phone?
Sure.
Dial Sister LeBlanc's number.
Sure. And she'll, yeah, like she gets on the phone. So
Especially because he broke his phone right in front of her. So
Yeah.
she's just waiting.
So I get the, I kind of want to say, like, she answers the phone saying like, "Hello, Rust." It's just kind of, she
Sister.
just knows.
Sister, we've run into a den of the enemy. They've got paramilitary forces have taken the hospital, and there's a doctor who isn't a doctor. He could not face against the gifts that you woke up in me. But we need to speak. Can we come to you? My squad and I.
Yes, you can. I've spoken with our other witnesses. The family has agreed to meet. If you come by the Basilica, and I'll give you I'll get an address for you. One moment. Swing by. It's on the way. And I'll be sure to let them know you're coming.
Okay.
But don't frighten them any more than they already are.
I think Maria and Elaine and Alvin will probably do most of the talking. I'm a little worked up. Brock is still missing.
The den of evil, and I mean, they don't need to know everything. They just.
I know, sister. I know you.
Okay.
I know. I'll be better. I won't. He looks down at the phone. He wants to break it. But he hands it back to Maria.
Okay, all right.
You
fair
see
enough.
Maria just sort of like she's seen what happens to foes before and she kind of grabs it
He's
back.
like,
He doesn't even think about it half the time. He just
Right.
Just checks it down because everything's a flip phone. I think in Phoenix, we decided just crack it in half. Okay. All right. So is that the plan? You guys want to head over there?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
That's
You guys go
easy
with that?
enough. No problem. Okay, so we'll cut then to the four of you arriving at the Basilica. You find Sister LeBlanc, who again she like kind of takes you once more on a walk. Like it's like she doesn't. It looks like she's trying to have these conversations like outside the grounds, because as we've said, she's former. So like the way I'm thinking of it, but Aaron, you're free to obviously it's your contact. So you tweak it however you want. Like I think of it as like she's almost trying to like retirement type thing. She's still knowledgeable and ever, but at the same time, she's still just trying to just be the sister now. Like that's what she's focusing on.
Exactly. Like the society let her retire as long as she was not going to be actively engaged.
Exactly.
So she's doing it all on the down low.
Right. And so that's why it's always the walk that she's taking you around we have these gardens here and they're very let me give you another tour. Like let me show your friends what we have been working on. We're very proud of it. And she kind of leads the four of you outside and away, and you kind of get around these grounds. And she hands like a folded up piece of paper, like a little note, and she hands it over to you, Rust, and she says, "This is the address for the Landons. They're expecting you. I said that I have colleagues, friends who are private investigators, is the cover here, that you investigate where the law enforcement is unwilling to. And I didn't really explain more than that. So they'll be willing to answer your questions. But I want to stress that the boy who this happened to, Jonathan, he's a young man. He's a teenager. He's very frightened, very disturbed. And the father might even be more so. They're their only family. The mother is not in the picture. They have no other siblings. It's just the two of them. And this is terrifying. So keep that in mind as you speak with them. That's all I ask.
Sister, were you able to find out any more information about this creature, or how we can hunt it down?
I am efforting that as we speak. My reach is not as robust as it once was, and part of my retirement was that I wouldn't be poking around too frequently in the records. But I do still have a friend or two that can lend some aid. But I have not been able to discover anything within any of the records that we have of a creature that absconds with eyes. I worry that we're dealing with something new. Maybe a variation of an existing creature. It's certainly not one of... It is not a blank body. It is not... It doesn't drain them of their blood. Doesn't even kill them. But why it takes them, I'm unsure. It's a very peculiar process, this creature, and the mild research I was able to put together is all very, very popular and not very academic, I'm afraid. References to bizarre stories and headlines and tabloids and things that haven't been verified or vetted by anyone within the industry. So it's hard to say whether or not these are not just stories of people with not a whole lot else to do with their lives. But I am still efforting.
Sister, on a related note, I'm expecting our current investigation we'll probably meet with 75% casualties in the squad. So you may want to be aware that Lockram Securities may be a front for some sort of supernatural efforts, and they've taken control over at least sections of the hospital where Brock was located until he went missing. And there's a Dr. Wendell Drebin who fronts for a medical company. Maria, what was the name of that company? I can't remember things sometimes so
Medcore.
well. Medcore. He tried to reach into us and make us like him, but it was during the day. He was walking around during the day. But when I pushed back against him like you showed me, he couldn't get close to me. But he knows we're on to him. And he said he was going to go after Brock too. I don't know if he's related to these security guys or not.
Curious.
But I think he's probably going to kill us.
It's certainly possible he could be... Walking around during the day, your talents were effective against him, and yet he let you leave. I wonder, you do know it's possible he might not himself be the strongest foe behind all this. He could simply be a ghoul or some other small affected handler within the orbit of some larger, more powerful creature that you've yet to encounter.
Do you think we should take him, torture him for information, and then dispose of his body, sister?
You see, she just smiles. That is a strategy, yes. Perhaps not the one to tackle just yet. Speak with Jonathan and Wes and see if they can lend any more insight. The primary issue right now, of course, is there's a monster on the streets that's preying upon innocent people and stealing their eyes.
You're right, sister. I'm sorry. I get distracted sometimes.
I know.
I'll let the others. They know what they're doing.
It's a yes. Hello. And so she just introduces herself. I am Sister LeBlanc. I am an old friend of our young soldier here. I appreciate you looking out for him. He can act rashly, but with a good heart. Now, it seems that there are many issues that have come to light here, but there's some that are more pressing than others. If this creature is preying on people still, then that is something that I think the four of you could tackle. If there is a larger network, a conspiracy of shadows and various dealers within our city here, then that's something that's going to need to be unraveled more systematically, and it's not necessarily going to be able to be done in what is the phrase, a wham bam thank you ma'am. So it's probably something you might need to take more time with.
Yes, sister. And like while Rust and the sister were having this conversation, Maria has just been mouthing to Elaine like 75% casualties. We're just like having this little side like mouthing whisper conversation, and so then Maria just kind of comes back to that and is like, I think doing some interrogation, doing some research, finding ways to maybe bring that casualty estimate down a little bit might be a good idea.
Preparation, research, intelligence gathering, then using that to perform more strategic operations is probably going to reduce that number. And don't let those numbers... He is very emotional, our young friend here. Keep your wits about you. You know that there is a monster. You have encountered it before. You can handle this. Just be careful and cautious. No one try to be a hero here. You're a team, obviously. Work together. And again...
You're a very supportive mentor. My mentor is kind of the, like, just kick my ass out there and, hope stuff gets done.
Excuse
You're
me.
very supportive.
Ma'am, language. There's no need for that. You can... Thank you. We can
I
describe...
suppose that is another difference between your that you as a mentor.
She's a Catholic nun at
Fine.
the same time. You know?
Oh, no, very true. Very true.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't say wham bam thank you ma'am, but it was funny.
Ma'am, are there
yes.
any prayers that perhaps would bring comfort to Jonathan and Wes?
Oh, well, that's something that I'll provide, and some of the others within the Basilica. You could help them most by uncovering what it is that did this to him, and if possible, finding a way to reverse it, of course.
Yeah.
But, as we all know, more than likely, it is not reversible, but we shall see.
It was able to move its eyes about its body, which
Yes.
was... So maybe.
It is possible, but from what I understand, there are no optical nerve endings left in the face, which means even if they were going to try to reconnect them, I am sorry, I am not a doctor, I am speaking outside of my forte. I don't see what they would reconnect them to. It's like trying to plug an electrical plug into a wall with no outlet.
Do you think that it's feeding on the eyes?
Well, from your description, had many eyes, so it seems to be collecting them. For what purpose, I don't know. As I said to Rust, I am unfamiliar with a creature of this kind, and the fact that I am unfamiliar with it should not surprise you. There are new discoveries made all the time, and the 21st century is one that's fraught with experiments and all sorts of supernatural and unnatural sciences and developments and mutations. Some that happen organically, some that happen in a laboratory or some kind, as people try to exploit these things for their personal gains and power and wealth, etc., etc. So, could it be feeding on them? I suppose. But then, why would it remain on its person? If it has so many eyes, the curious thing then is, well, why is it collecting these eyes? Where did this thing come from?
Mm-hmm.
Why, just recently, has this popped up? There's many questions still, and not enough answers.
You asked the good questions. I like you.
Well, thank you. It's very kind. Kindness will not get you very far in your profession, though, I feel. But be kind, at least, to the Landons today. Thank you. You are, after all, there on my name. So what you do reflects on me.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll
Watch your
keep the
language.
4-letter words to a minimum. Can't promise anything, but, minimum.
Okay, thank you.
I'll
Now,
wrangle him.
I must get back before they think ill of me. Good
Sister,
luck.
thank you so much again for helping.
Yes. Now you are
I'll
all
be good.
soldiers.
I'll be
know
good.
you will. I know you will. You're just concerned for your friend, and that is an admirable quality. Do not leave a soldier behind. And
That's right. Even the ones who fall would take their bodies back, because you don't know what the creatures will do with them.
You see, it's this kind of excessiveness that you be careful. The commentary that you go on in front of John, that might actually.
I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet while we're there.
You're a good boy. And she kind of just pats you reassuringly with her, and she waddles back. Okay. Do you want to head straight
It's her
over?
bloodthirsty puppy.
Did you want to head back at all? Do you want to do anything else, or do you just want to head straight there?
I'm ready to head through there.
Agreed.
Okay. Sorry, I just noticed I screwed up something with my layout of Ashley that I'm now fixing because I am OCD about that. Okay, so you head over. It's neighborhood's a little bit further west, northwest, so it's not quite in Central City, so it's kind of outside of the area that you've been working with, but it's close enough. So it's kind of on the other side of the 17, and it's a decent neighborhood. It's not a great neighborhood. To be fair, it's a neighborhood that's, you can tell, a lot of single family homes, duplexes, things like that. Not a whole lot to be said for like the fancy lawns or anything. A lot of just xeriscape dry rocks and things like that. There's so it's definitely an older neighborhood that you approach. I'll tell you what, I don't want to necessarily just say everyone do this, but who's driving? How about we say that? Who would be driving?
Quixote does not know how to drive, so it would be bad for him to be behind the wheel.
Okay.
Maria's got the van, right?
Yeah, I think we just default pile in Maria's van.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maria's got the van. So I'll say, how about this? How about Alvin? And you could take an assist die from Elaine and Quixote. So get an extra die from helping. Just roll an awareness intelligence check with 2 extra die from Quixote and Elaine, because the 3 of you say you're just kind of looking around.
Is there a difficulty to it, or just?
For this is one of those things where the better you do, the more I might give.
7 successes.
Wow.
Okay, so with a crit,
Yeah.
actually. You notice a few things. You notice, first of all, on your way there, as it's in the back of your head now, you're looking at these different vehicles, these law enforcement vehicles, and you start realizing that what you thought in some cases were just like Phoenix Metro Police, like it's not. Like you're looking at the sides of the doors, like you see lock room control, like all over here and there, and you get the sense that like there's a much bigger presence, and even when you start kind of moving away from like the central city area, but you see especially within that corridor of central city, which is southern Phoenix, right? Like you can see that they are all over. Like there is like almost every street you see that there's either a vehicle that's driving or a vehicle that's parked off to the side. Like there is a heavy security presence. The second thing you notice, and this is what you get, this is the crit right here. As you're getting into the neighborhood, again, this is outside of Central City, where the Landons live. You notice there are multiple vehicles parked on or near his block. You can see that there's 3 total vehicles, like 2 of them that are parked, 1 of them that you can see is just sort of patrolling, and they're all within this residential neighborhood.
Got a bit of heat in this neighborhood.
They're just everywhere.
They're after the kid, just like they took everybody else.
I mean, this kid's the only one who still has one eye left.
He's also the only one we can use to track down that thing that we know of, at least. If he can see what it sees.
So we would have had the van at the doctor's office?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 2 of you drove over, if I recall correctly.
That's a shame. Okay.
You're not being followed. You can tell that. You weren't tailed. But you can see they're already here. Like when you get here to the neighborhood, there are just 2 of them that are already parked up, one on either side of the block. Like one's on the north side, like the north entrance to the block, and it's just off to the side. It's not like blocking the road or anything. You can get by. And one on the southern. And you can tell there's in the vehicles, like there you can see there's 2 people. There's one at the one at the wheel, one on the passenger side, and they're both there. And then you can see there's another one that's cruising. Like the 2 vehicles that, and they're all like in like the SUV style. Like you can see, and like they're all, you can't quite make out what's in the back of them. The tinting's too dark at that point. But you can see they're just sort of parked in the area, like right at his street, and then another floating one here or there. So how do you want to handle this as you approach the when you look from a distance at the at the house? Nothing seems to be like a miss. Like you can tell, like there's looks like a 20-year-old Honda like sitting in the driveway, and it's more of a carport, I should say, than a driveway. Like you can see it parked underneath like this covering, and you can see the side. It's got like the center block siding to it. It's got rocks out in front, a couple random cacti and different desert plants and things. It seems to be in relatively decent shape. Probably small. You would think maybe like a 2-bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom. And there's no fanfare, nothing going on there that you can tell. But but like and like do you just park and go right in?
Is there
Is
a
there some other plan that you have?
convenience store or strip mall or something close by?
Yeah, you came in, like, we'll say this is like 3 blocks in from a main road, and there were various, like, and there's probably a gas station like on the corner a couple blocks away that had a convenience store attached to it.
So are we on like
Shell
a
station.
is this house like on a through arterial, or is it on like a cul-de-sac? Does it
It's through.
back up against other houses?
It
Or?
backs up against other houses. You're 3 blocks in from a main road, and it's a through. Yeah, it's a through street. There's no like way to corner or anything like that. Yeah.
Early afternoon.
Yeah. So I would say since you spoke with Sister LeBlanc first, we're looking at maybe 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere around there.
Could Maria would not just pull right up to the house. So Maria would, kind of go back to, gas station or, especially if there's like a little strip mall where there's going to be a decent amount of parking spaces, pull in there first.
Okay.
Wondering if I could set, I'm trying to remember, it's been a couple weeks. I don't think I put the drone out on a particular circuit.
I think you did some scouting with it by the hospital, which is how you discovered like the Valley MedCorp connection.
But I brought it back.
Well, yeah, we'll say you brought it back. I would assume, even if you didn't say it, I don't think you would leave with your drone flying around. So it's fine.
I would like to put it out, and I can do it in like a automated sense, like a path. So I kind of want to have that patrolling around to see like how many of the SUVs there are, and if we get like an increased presence or anything like that. So that's what I want to do, is kind of get some surveillance going.
Sure. Yeah. Roll your. So you're using your drone talent, your drone jockey talent, or edge, I should say. Excuse me. Go ahead and roll that up.
Okay. So that's a wits technology.
Yeah. So you're doing the control. So wits tech is what you're looking for, and you're just doing like basic. Like you're just doing basics kind of scouting. Is that all you're doing? Is like recon of the area, or is there anything more specific that you're looking for?
I want to set it on a path so that I can see if we get more like SUVs coming in. So if there's like a changeover in, like the SUV specifically, so I'm kind of going around the exterior and their street.
Okay. All right. So you want to try to like kind of plug in a patrol pattern for it, basically. All right. No idea if drones can do this. We're going to say yes because it sounds like fun. We'll say because you're trying to cover a decent ground, say moderate. So we'll call it like a moderate thing. So that's 3 successes that you would be looking for with this.
All right. So I'm rolling 4, and I got.
And you have the ability to remember that if we have any audience dice left over or anything like that. Hey,
yes,
Jen.
we have 4.
Hey Eddie, how's it going?
Well, hello, and thank you for that sub.
Thank you.
So I rolled 6, a 6, a 7, and a 10. So that's
a hell of a roll. That's 4 successes. Yeah,
yes.
6, 7, 10. Okay, I heard them land. Okay, so
it was nice.
I love physical dice. It's so nice to do them again. Okay, so yeah, you get it on the pattern, and I'll say immediately you would notice as it's doing like its patrol. You got your tablet out. You're kind of like your tablet control console, and you're kind of looking at inputting whatever kind of pattern you want it to fly, and you notice that there are other what looks like vehicles like that you would think are probably like, but none of them are like immediately on this street. But you can tell like there's one on one side of the street, one on the other, and that cruising one is just sort of looping around like the same 2 blocks, and it's not going down like that block. It looks like it's just doing this loop and then kind of slows down at one point, and you can see it slows down right next to one of the other vehicles that was parked. Like you can tell that they're probably doing some sort of exchange, and then it kind of loops back around and does the same thing kind of on the other side as well. Like they're all on kind of communication, like they're exchanging something. You can't make it out from a distance, but you have that kind of flying around up top. And we'll say with 4 successes, we'll say that'll be going around for a little while. Like so you'll be able to kind of pull the console back out and kind of peek at it from time to time. Okay, so what else do we want to do? What's next?
We got to get them out of there. I mean, maybe, just hear me out here. Maybe we call the sister and we have her call them to let them know that we're coming to get them out because they're in danger. I know that's not exactly what she said. She wanted to stay, quiet, but then we call in a fire next door to their house. And when the fire trucks show up, we go through the other street, through the backyard, take them out the back of the house, hop some fences, and get them out of the neighborhood. Then go to ground. Or go in guns blazing, but I don't have a gun. I'm not very good with guns.
And what about them? You think they'll just leave their house?
Well, if the fire truck comes, they're not going to be able to go in right when the fire truck is there, and it might distract them enough that we can get them out the back. I don't know.
Or we could just talk.
I saw it in a movie when I was in there. But if we go in and talk to them, the security guys may collapse in on top of us once they see us. Who knows? They may know our faces by now. Those damn Quislings, they're everywhere.
Well, Jeff, would you say that there were people walking around?
Yeah, there's people. You can see there's people out in front yards of their homes. There's other cars that are coming and going from the neighborhood that are and you can see there's some bikes and stuff. There's definitely people around. And then we'll say the main street that's nearby is it's decently active as well. So it's not like this is like a quiet little area.
I kind of agree with what Alvin said. These are, this is their home. They may feel safer in their home.
Maybe I was overreacting.
I agree, though. I don't think we should just drive up with my van and just pull it in their driveway.
Well, maybe you guys should go in and talk. And then if these security guys look like they're making a move, I'll distract them. Somehow. It'll be safe.
Sounds good. We need to get away if that happens.
So do you want to stay here?
Yeah, I'll stay with the van. And the keys to the van.
And we got you a new burner. So you do have a burner phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I will, and you just see her tense up quite a bit, and you just kind of see the little console for the drone. And so she just kind of looks at you and she's like, I'm going to leave this.
I don't think that's a good idea. I think
you can bring that with you. Yeah, that's handheld. You can bring that with you. You don't have to leave it.
Tablet.
Yeah.
It'd be safer with you. I'm not saying that anything bad's going to happen, but it'd be safer with you, Maria.
I'm just saying, I might be having a conversation and not able to look at it. You're sitting here, you're looking right at it.
Okay. And if I see something happening, I'll call you guys and let you know to run.
I think that works.
Okay. So
the gas pedal's the right one, right?
I think you're better off just here and just
okay.
And just do that. But yes, the gas pedal's the right one.
I'll be good.
I suppose if there's somebody that you know for sure is a bad person, but you have to know for sure it's a bad person.
Okay.
It's a van. You can always run them over.
So Rust is staying back with the van at this sort of gas station convenience store. We'll call it a circle, like one of those Circle K gas stations, just for that. So is he staying here, and then the three of you are walking the three? It's only 3 blocks. It's short. Are you walking the 3 blocks then?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Okay, so we'll say that. Yeah, you walk the 3 blocks. You're not accosted by anyone, law enforcement or otherwise, and you get up to the door, ring the doorbell.
Quixote drives the van up.
Okay.
So he's only a block away.
Gotcha.
In case he has to ram somebody.
Yeah, no problem. Oh, jeez. Okay, and then you ring the doorbell. The answers pretty quickly. And you see an older man, not too old actually, probably in his probably late 40s or so, but you can tell he hasn't slept. He looks to be fairly stressed. But he opens the door, hair kind of disheveled a bit, and he's just like he says, "Can I help you? Is there something?" I'm sorry. I'm not in the mood for sales calls or anything right now.
Oh, we're not selling anything. My name's Alvin, and my friend's here. We're sent by Maria, Sister Maria. She said we could speak to you.
Of course, yes. Thank you. Yeah, please. Yeah, come on in. You're the investigators. Thank you so much. Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay. Well, you came at a good time. He's awake. He's eating lunch, sort of, as best he can. Come on. And he kind of leads you through modest looking, living room here, basic couch. Little dirty right now. You can tell things been sort of thrown around. But he leads you into like a kind of a half kitchen, half dining room, and you see about a 17-year-old kid kind of sitting there struggling to what looks like he's trying to scoop up some sort of bowl of rice and beans or something from the table. He's trying to eat, but you can tell he's none the worse. He's not in very good shape. He's got what looks like a hospital bracelet kind of still wrapped around him. But I would say, since all of you have been evaluated, it's not the same. It's definitely it's a different hospital. But you can see that he's they're trying to eat, and as you come around, you can tell eyes are missing, and he's got what looks like sunglasses that he has put on to sort of cover it up, but they're kind of hanging a little bit limply on the nose. But you can tell, just like Brock, just like the security guard that you found at the train yard, completely sort of smooth and indentations here. There's no scar of any kind, no suggestion of trauma that has been done. And the guy says, "What, Jonathan? There's people here to speak with you. They're going to try to help. This is Alvin. Alvin, go ahead and say hello so we can recognize your voice."
Hey, Jonathan, how you doing?
And the kid's just like, "I'm doing great, thanks." And you can tell, heavy dose of sarcasm. He's 16, 17. You can tell, you can tell he's got kind of skater clothes on here and there. And everyone else, I assume, kind of goes through, does the same thing. And he says, the father says, "Okay, go ahead and sit down. Go ahead and sit down. Yeah, he's anything you can do to help. The cops, we spoke with them. They're looking into it. It's not an isolated incident. Apparently, there's been other people that have, been attacked. But I mean, I don't know. They didn't sound optimistic that they were going to find anything. And then, the hospital. They did. They're great. They just couldn't figure anything out. They couldn't. We love St. Joseph's. They were great when, Jonathan, when we had him there before, but they had no idea. They had no idea. They said there's no reason for him to stay there, and my insurance wasn't going to let him stay anyway. They weren't going to cover an extended hospital stay, but they said we could take him home. He's fine, but I don't know. We're just this doesn't make sense, you know?
No, you're right. It doesn't. Just to kind of take a step back, so we can kind of get all the details. Do you have the names of the officers that you spoke with?
Sure. Yeah. And you see, on a countertop of the kitchen, there's this stack of mail, but also other things. And he starts going through, and you can see he hands over a card, Metro City Police. So it actually is a detective. But he also, as he's going through it, the more interesting thing that kind of catches your attention is that you see a lockroom control card, right there as well. And you can see there's health, there's all these medical bills and stuff that are on the counter as well, and discharge papers, stuff like that, and some what looks like there's a script for It's not for pain, but it's more just for like I can't remember the name of the meds. I wrote it down before, but I forgot about it. But basically, for panic attacks, trying to kind of calm them down.
More for like an anti-anxiety kind of.
Yeah, anti-anxiety, and like that's there. But like it's the script. It's not Valley Wise where Brock was taken. It's St. Joseph's, and you would know that St. Joseph's is another hospital. It's a little bit further north than the one you went to. So it's not quite. It's in relative same sort of Phoenix area, but it's not as south. It's sort of north of the 10 a little bit. But yeah, you go through it and like you look at you've got actual cards that you can follow up on for detectives and things like that.
I couldn't help but noticing there. Have you been contacted by that security company?
Oh yeah, those guys. Yeah, yeah, we have. Yeah, they were just here this morning. Actually, they I don't know how they heard, but they were inquiring and they were offering their services.
How much did they seem to know?
Well, they seem to know a lot more than the cops do. The cops didn't even believe us when we said his eyes were taken, and they think that, I don't know, that Jonathan's doing the new drug or whatever the hell they call it now. And yeah, they said that apparently Jonathan's not the only one that this is happening to, and I mean, they said they could keep him, under watch or whatever, or they could make sure that nothing was going to happen. Or, I mean, they all. I can't afford it. It's a private security. I can't afford it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I can't. They want to take him to a different hospital. It's outside of my health insurance. Like, Valley Wise is not on my health insurance. I can't take him there, so that the bills aren't going to be covered. And then, like, whatever this private security guard thing, whatever it is, like, and then they want him to see some sort of specialist, like, for his dream sleep issues now, and like the insurance isn't going to cover all this stuff, right? It's just no.
I take this for what you will, but and she'll kind of say, never mind. And she'll just kind of look over at Elaine and Alvin.
All the kids just like eating there really slowly, and like every now and then you hear him snort or like kind of grimace at something his dad said or whatever. But you can see he's just sort of got this resigned, sort of almost like drone to it. Like he's almost like he's given up. Like he's just like whatever.
Oh, that's when, because Elaine, she's got like her like bag that's kind of like a shoulder bag, so she pulls out, she's got like a clipboard with like a notebook on it, so she'll take the cards and stuff that he showed you, so she can take them, and then
take them. You can keep them. I mean, I need to leave the bills, please. But
okay,
I mean, I got the detectives in my phone. It's fine. Like,
do you
take them.
mind if you and I speak privately?
Me? Yeah. You're talking to the kid, or are you talking to the?
She's
father?
talking to the dad. So I'm trying to separate them so they have a moment to talk to the kid.
Are you okay? Jonathan, are you going to be okay? And so the kid's just like, well, they took both my eyes. They took one of my kidneys. So, yeah, I guess I can sustain a couple more. Why not? And you can see the father just like grimaces. It's like, yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah. Be good.
Elaine gives him like a friendly like pat
so
on
we'll
the shoulder.
Yeah, maybe you guys go out back, like onto the patio or something out back.
Yeah.
Okay. And Alvin and Maria are still inside. All right. Okay. We can go either way. I don't care who wants to ask questions.
Do you guys want to go first?
If you have something at the top here, you can go ahead. But if not,
my main goal was just to separate them so you guys could ask questions without like Dad there.
Hey, Jonathan. We're not cops, we're not doctors, but we've encountered friends with the same situation. So you might repeat some things that you've been asked countless times, but we're here to help you.
Well, that's great. I'm really glad to have help. You guys sound really helpful. Real helpful.
Or
No,
actually thinking that you can be helpful to us, actually. Because, like Alvin said, I'm Maria, by the way. I don't remember if I introduced myself. But there are actually other people that this has happened to. And we heard that you've been having some dreams, being able to see some things, which might be able to help us in our search. And then maybe we can find some answers.
Yeah, I've been having dreams. Yeah. Dad says he sees me kind of flopping around a little bit and can't wake me up. Wish he could. Things I've been seeing. It's the only time I can see is in dreams now, and everything I see is just someone getting attacked or... Yeah. For the past, I don't know how it's been, a week now, something like that. Every night, it's the same thing. Fall asleep. And at some point, there I am, attacking someone in my dream. And I wake up, my dad's the side of my bed, his hair's all messed up, he hasn't slept. I sleep just fine except for these things, and he's always freaking out and this or that. But I never feel, well rested. I'm tired. I'd say I'd have rings under my eyes, but I don't have eyes.
Yeah, we got that. And
But,
can you tell us a bit about where you're seeing all this go down? Because we found one of the guys the other night, so probably not long after you saw.
I've seen someone I've seen a groundskeeper get attacked at a graveyard. I've seen, more than 3 or 4 homeless people just squatting in some building or on the street, an alley, something like that. Saw one of them in a sewer and train yard. A couple people get attacked in the train yard. And yeah.
the train yard. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, there's 2 of them, really.
Or any ones after that?
That was just last night, so it only ever seems to happen at night when I've taken naps during the day, and those are the only time I ever feel better when I sleep. When I try to sleep at night, that's when things go bad. But yeah, last night I saw there's one guy who was kind of going around looking at stuff, and then he started running, and I chased him down. And I say it's me because it's what it feels like it's like I'm playing a first-person shooter or something, and I'm on him, and I'm punching him, or scraping at him. I can hear the screams. I can feel it. That's the weird thing. When it happened, it didn't even hurt, it didn't. It was quick. It was weird. I just got, I don't know. But it was scary, and then all of a sudden you just can't see, and it's just the panic. I can hear the panic, and then I just ran off, and I perched up somewhere else and waited around for a bit, and then I got another one.
So where did you perch up?
That's the funny thing. I swear I climbed a frickin' what are those things called? A telephone pole or something. I was on top of there, one of them, and then I don't know. Never moved so fast in my life. My dad wants me to play sports. No thanks. Guess I'm not gonna be playing sports now.
We may find a solution to this before we're done. Is it always the same telephone pole that you're climbing up?
No, it's here or there. I recognize the neighborhoods, we skate there all the time, so it's not like
but it's not the same place. It's the same couple of blocks or so, I guess you can say. You know, Bowie and Anna and I, we go down there all the time. I mean, they were with me when I got attacked, but they didn't get attacked, you know. They got away, which I'm glad they did, but I don't know.
Where were you?
We were over at this place, it was this, like I don't know, it was some sort of industrial building, I don't know, they sold plumbing stuff or whatever. I went to take a leak, and like, you guys aren't cops, right?
We're not.
Well, don't tell my dad this, because, you know, but we were, you know, and I went to take a leak, and that's when it jumped me. I screamed. Before I knew it, I couldn't see anything, and that's when, you know, Anna and Bowie were there. They took a video of it. So, like, I got on. Where's my phone? Do you see my phone?
I'll look around, see if he left it
It's in
somewhere.
my room, and he's like pointing sort of in the right direction. It's the second door on the right. And kind of points down in one direction. Not the first. It's the bathroom.
Were you doing some of that new stuff that we've been hearing about?
No. Just
No judgment if you were.
No, no. Everything's fine. It's just, I don't know. My vape pen's broken anyway. It's another thing that happened. I can't even calm down now. They got me on some other thing now, and all it does is just make me more sluggish all day. So I don't sleep at night, or I do sleep at night, but it doesn't feel restful. And I wake up and I'm just tired and stressed, and then I take pills, and now I'm even more tired, but I can't sleep because the anxiety is just like bubbling up right underneath the surface. And then and then I gotta take the kidney pill. Never mind. It's just,
So what's the kidney thing?
I had a kidney transplant a couple months back, beginning of the year, back in January. That's why we went to St. Joseph's, because they were great. Car accident. So I was on the list. I'm young and healthy, and if my dad found out about the vape, there's some special oil, if you understand what I'm saying. If he found out, he'd get all mad, but honestly, like, who cares? I don't have any eyes. I'm gonna freaking do what anyway. Yeah, you find my phone yet? So you got his phone. You get his phone, you bring it back, and he kind of directs you on how to get in. And he plays like this little, like, kind of grainy, not grainy, but like kind of bouncy footage of like what sounds like his friends are running like towards him, and like they're running up, and like you can see there's this figure, and you've recognized the figure for sure. It is the same thing that attacked the guy in the train yard. Over top of him, and over top of Jonathan, and like you can tell that like they start throwing, like they're like screaming and kind of throwing rocks, but they're keeping their distance, and the creature just like bolts away, like just completely bolts away as fast as it can. And they get up, and they kind of get up right on Jonathan. They got the camera on it, and they're like, you can just hear, oh my god, what the fuck, holy shit, what the, you know, as they're looking down, and his eyes, just like the faces you've seen before, are just missing. They're just gone.
Have you shown this to anyone else?
I mean, we were gonna post it, but my dad said no, he doesn't want. I don't know. I told him like we could do a GoFundMe, and we could like and it'd pay for everything, but I don't know. Maybe you could talk him into that.
Did the creature say anything?
No, it didn't speak at all. It never speaks. It didn't speak to me. Doesn't speak to any of the things. It's like, you know, I don't know. Like, part of me thinks that like it has my eyes, you know, and I'm like still seeing through them. Does it make any sense? This doesn't make any sense.
With the things that we do, it makes as much sense as anything else we see.
Really? The things that you do, like trying to figure out if someone's cheating on their wife or whatever. It's like you guys are just private investigators. The things you do. Glamorous.
There's it, not glamorous, not looking for any kind of attention, but we've seen some things.
Okay.
Do you get any, like, is sight the only?
Yeah, that's it. I
Do
can't hear.
you get any
like,
feeling or anything?
No.
Like,
I can't feel anything. Like I doesn't like. There's nothing. All I get is. I mean, like in the dream. You mean?
yeah, like, do you feel
Yeah,
like if
I mean,
it has?
I can feel the heat. You know, I can feel the movement of it, the wind passing by and everything. But you know, I can tell. You know, if I'm running on gravel or the road, or if I'm, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Maria kind of looks over to Alvin.
So out on the patio, Ashley, were you saying anything?
Yeah, she'll basically just inquire, like, so how are you holding up?
Not well. Not well. My kid has no eyes. I can't. I'm already stretched thin with his last surgery, and now he's got no eyes. There's no transplants available, and and he's 17. He's graduating, you know, next year, but his last year now he's got to. Like, we can't say he's not. We got to send him to a different school. He's got to. How he's going to adjust to this? They're set everything back. I can't. Yeah, I can't afford any of this. I know it's not the money. It's just, but I don't know how to help him. He's just.
It's hard when you can't help your kids.
He's pissed off and rightfully so, and he's confused. He's terrified. And he's been drawing things. Like, it ain't the greatest, but it's I don't like it. It's violent. And he says is what he sees in his dreams.
Can you show me those drawings?
Yeah. It's they're back inside. Yeah.
What before we go in, what can you tell me about when he's dreaming?
And he just repeats everything like as best he can. It's less accurate because it's coming from him as opposed from the kid. But it's the same sort of thing. Like the idea that he's he's seeing these things. Yeah.
Yeah, but it more so like I'm asking, like, is he trying to is he acting out what he's doing in his dreams, or is he kind of just laying there stuck?
When he's in his dreams, no, he's basically there. Sometimes he'll shift and flop around, but no, he doesn't like get up and move or anything.
Okay, so no like sleepwalking.
No, nothing like that.
Okay.
No, he's just, it's like he's sleeping, but I can shake him. I can pour water on him, which I've done. I even don't call the cops on me, but I lit a lighter on his hand once too, and that didn't do a damn thing. And he doesn't wake up no matter what I do. Loud pain, sounds, anything. He doesn't wake up. He's in it. During the day, when he's taking like an afternoon nap or something, he sleeps then, barely. And he wakes up, and then he remembers he can't see.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, this is our lives now.
Yeah. I know you're gonna be tired of hearing it, but I'm very sorry that you guys are in this situation.
Don't be sorry. Just, I mean,
but
we're not getting his eyes back, but can we at least get this son of a bitch who did this to him? Whatever freak this is that's doing this, some freaking psychopath.
Hold him to the highest point of the law.
Well, that's what I said. I said it's a freaking serial killer or something going on, and like whatever. I don't have time to deal with this. All right. Let me go get you those pictures, and like you go back in, you get them, and and again, it's sort of like it's really not the greatest drawings, but you can kind of glean. And you remember when you got that sketchbook when you guys were in the training yard, and it's sort of like that. Like you can tell it's very much like that. It's kind of that sort of sketching out these images of what this person sees. So Quixote, out in the like, you don't have the drone. You left so Maria still has a drone control.
I left it with Rust.
You did
I
leave
did
it with
give
him?
it to Rust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Rust, you do notice at one point that the roaming vehicle finally turns down the street and is kind of, you can see, has slowed down and stopped across from the house that they're in.
Calls up Maria. Maria.
Yeah.
They pulled up outside of the house. No movement yet, but they could be preparing to infiltrate.
That's just great. They already came by and offered their services.
Right, their services.
They didn't even try to hide themselves. They even left a card.
Well, I trust you guys to do what's right, but I want to let you know what's going on. If something else happens, let's just leave the line open so I don't have to worry about trying to dial through.
And that's where you guys hear a very heavy knock on the front door. And Rust, you see that they've like moved out of the car and have like walked up, and they're just knocking on the door.
Wes might be for you. You turn him down.
Turn them down. I'm going to hear what they have to say. I mean, all right. So he goes, he answers the door.
Strongly advise you
Yeah.
turn him down. Don't tell him anything.
Goes and answers the door. I assume you're all staying. Are you staying out of sight? It's not hard.
Yes,
to
very
do.
much so.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard to do. There's no roll necessary. So you stay out of sight, and the door opens up, and you can tell like through the voice and through like the window and stuff. There's two. And Rust, you can see from the overhead, there's two people, and you can hear like a very loud voice. Hello there, Mr. Landon. We're sorry to bother you twice in one day, but we have really good news actually for you, and we thought it might, you probably need some of that. I know you were concerned earlier with cost. We have actually gotten approval, and well, not approval, but we have heard that there will be no cost to you for the services. We have some very charitable, philanthropic doctors over at down in Valleywise Med, and that are willing to fund this. Obviously, they are curious about what's happening, and they kind of want to understand what befell your son, but they are more than happy to take the costs onto them. So if that is the only obstacle you have from engaging with us, then consider that obstacle passed. And you can see that Landon, like Wes, he kind of turns back and he looks at you guys out of the corner of his eye. You know what? That sounds great. That sounds actually really, really great. Jonathan, I just got him down for a nap. He's actually gonna, can we come by later? Is that can I bring him in? Is there something, get the ball rolling? And you hear it on the other side. Well, absolutely. That's certainly the doctors they're very eager to get a look at him. So the sooner the better. This is as there are others that have suffered a similar fate, and from what we hear, the sooner that they can kind of get a look at your son, the more likely they can help him. We're more than happy. We can give you an escort right now. We have plenty of room. We can take both you and your son. We can hit the sirens, run the red lights. That'd be kind of fun, right? What are you guys doing with this? Those of you in.
Maria is just hard shaking her head no, just out of eye line.
I'm assuming Quixote does not hear any of this over the open line.
No, but I'll say you can definitely see the doors open. You can see the conversation. Like there's a conversation happening. You have no idea what that conversation is, but it does seem to be polite. Like it doesn't seem like there's anything violent going on.
All right. Maria told me not to do anything. The sister said not to do anything. But he does start the van.
Okay.
Maria will look back to Alvin and see if he's still with Wes.
I'm not with Wes, with Jonathan. If he's at the dinner
Jonathan's the kid,
table,
Wes is the adult.
yeah.
Sorry.
If he's like, maybe I'll whisper to him like, "You can't go with these guys. You got to turn them down right now."
It's up to my dad, man. I'm 17. It's whatever he says. If he wants me to go with him, I guess I'm going with him.
Might be your dad, but you're your own person. You can take control of your life.
I can take control of my life. I can take control of my life. That's funny. I've got it. Okay, yeah, that's real funny. In the span of 6 months, I've lost a kidney, gained a kidney, and I'm missing both my eyes. My life expectancy has drastically reduced. I haven't had a good night's sleep in over a week, and I'm in total control here. Yeah, it's a real funny guy. Real funny.
I'm telling you, we might be the first people to believe your story, but if you go with them, you might not come back out.
All right, roll. Let's do a roll. I think it's if you're trying to convince him to sort of stand up and advocate for himself not to go. Go ahead and roll. It sounds like you want to do. I assume this is persuasion as a skill, and then like either charisma or manipulation is probably the attribute.
How do you do with those there?
And I will also say that this is probably a moderate test. So 3 successes is what I'd be looking for here.
I have manipulation.
Yeah.
Just 1 pip. I got nothing else.
I do think we have some audience dice left.
This is desperation. Can I use it for that?
What's your creed?
Oh, no,
what's your
mine's
creed
like...
field? Yeah,
I forget, mine's the fighting thing,
right?
yeah.
Well, I mean, you could punch him.
I'm going to beat him up a bit.
Punch him in the
They're not
face
going
and be
anywhere.
like, you're doing what I tell you to do.
Take control of your life later.
We've already seen
right
that
now, listen to me.
Alvin's very good at child neglect, so just add child straight on, abuse on top of it, right? I don't think you can tap into the despair here. Sorry.
That's fine.
Desperation dice, I should say. Go ahead and roll. We'll see what you get.
Let's see what happens.
All right.
And we do have 4 advantage dice if you wanted to.
Yeah,
take
you
one
can
of them.
take you can take a audience die for this as well.
What were the rolls again? Manipulation.
So either manipulation or charisma. I'll take either. I don't care. But then I think the skill is most certainly persuasion. It sounded very much like you were persuading him.
Let's take an audience die.
Okay. Give it a roll.
And here we go.
3 successes is what you need.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to add, but it would have failed.
Okay. Do you have another? You have another die? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the audience one, but even with one more,
So you
it
got
would've
one
been 2.
success. Okay.
Yeah.
1 success. Yeah, that's not gonna be enough to convince him. Listen, but if these people can help me, yay, they can help me. It's my dad, and he's already fallen apart as it is. I'm not gonna sit here. Whatever. I don't care. I just don't care right now. If I want to sleep, if they can put me to sleep for a bit and I wake up and I feel better, then fine. Whatever he says. And
Maria's going to try to get the dad's eye and just, kind of like wrap it up. Just get them gone.
And as he kind of turns again and looks at you, you hear the voice like, Mr. Landon, is there someone else there with you, or is there we come at a bad time? No, just my son. That's all. Sure, no problem. So he's like, well, I need to talk it over with him, if you don't mind. Family meeting, and we'll
Can we call, and can we just come in? Do we know who to talk to? Like the attending doctor? Sure. You know what we'll do? Why don't you meet? Do you want us to we could come talk to him ourselves if you want. If you'd feel more comfortable, or we can wait in the car. We just wait in the car. I'm sure we can go ahead and we'll call. You know what we'll do? We're gonna go wait in a car. Let you talk to your son. We're gonna call Dr. Drebin, and we're gonna let him know that you're thinking about it. And and we'll go from there. How about that? Sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll be right outside. Take all the time you need. And we'll get the ball rolling. Look, we're here to help. Okay, we're here to help. Close the door, and he kind of turns back to you, Maria, and he says, "Why exactly should I not take them up on this opportunity? Someone's paying medical bills. Someone's actually trying to help with answers. There's a clock on this, and you're telling me I'm not supposed to do this."
They're kidnapping people, and they're
kidnapping people.
Experimenting on them. They're not actually.
They're
doing
literally knocking on my
research.
door and asking me if I should come.
Yep.
That
This
is the
is
most
true.
polite kidnapping I've ever seen. And they're really bad at it because, Wes, are you still in the kitchen? Yeah, I'm in the kitchen. Well, he's right there in the kitchen.
Yes, he is.
You can see
But-
his attitude starting to warm up at this point.
But would you, and I think this is because this happens to be a minor, but most of this has been happening with homeless folks. And nobody really notices when
Okay.
they go missing, unfortunately.
You haven't given me any alternatives. So I'm sorry. You've given me no alternatives. You're asking a bunch of questions. You're interested. You want to help. I love Sister LeBlanc. She's been a great support for our friends and for my family. She was there, at St. Joseph's when everything was going down. But at the same time, I need to do what I got to do to help my son. He needs medical care. He needs medical attention. And if someone's going to pay for it, I don't see any other answer. So I'm going to have to go for it. If you're trying to hide from them or whatever, that's fine. I won't say anything about you. There's no reason for this. Like, you can wait here and leave once we're gone. That's fine. Maria, go ahead and roll a test. This is actually going to be challenging though, because I think he's gotten to the point where he's fed up.
Sure.
Someone's giving him an offer to do anything. But if you want to try to convince him otherwise, I think you got to do this.
Persuasion plus what?
Charisma or manipulation, or whatever you think you're going with. I think manipulation's more about kind of, to me, the way I think about it in my head, it's more like you're trying to logic or lie, whereas charisma is just sort of like your force of personality, like you're just trying to come across as likable and whatnot. So whichever you think Maria is leaning into here is probably what you're after.
Okay. And yeah, I'll say manipulation.
Okay.
And so I need a 6 or higher.
Yeah.
I've got an 8 and a crit.
You have a crit?
Zero.
Two
Like
tens?
just no. I just have
that's not, yeah.
an 8
So you
and a
need
10.
2 tens to get the bonus. So you only have 2 successes, is what you're saying.
Yes, I do only have 2 successes.
So you see, he
is
exhales,
unfortunate.
and he's like, "All right, I would love. We're gonna go ahead, and I'm gonna bring him in because it's night soon. He's got a couple hours, and I don't want to deal with him alone again at night, because that's when the worst things happen, and he just dreams about assaulting people, or whatever the hell he's dreaming about." So I'm going to bring him in now so that they can look at him before night comes, before he goes to sleep, before he goes to bed, and maybe they can help him and he can have a good night's sleep for once. And then maybe I can have a good night's sleep too. Here's my number. If you come up with something else, call me. But I don't see... I'm sorry. They've been nothing but friendly. Okay?
Maria's going to look over to Elaine and just kind of throw her hands up and just be like, you talk to him, I'm done. Because she wants to step out and call Rust.
Okay.
Mm.
So
I understand this is a great opportunity, and I just request that if you could keep us in the loop.
absolutely. That
Thank you. That sounds fair. Thank you for being reasonable. Give me your numbers. You have mine. I'll fill you in on what his prognosis is and what they say, but we're going. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to be rude, but that's final.
No, that makes you got to do what's best for your family. If you feel like perhaps anything is out of the ordinary, more so than we've already had. And she at this point she's referencing his drawings.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will call if you daylight's wasting.
I want to get this bastard.
Okay. Well, we gave you all the information we have. I'll call you if we come up with anything else, okay?
So
Yeah.
Maria wants to call Rust while Elaine is chatting with the dad.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is going to be like a double roll kind of a thing. But I want to see if I can walk Rust through something on the controls.
Okay.
So I don't, like if I can
I
do
think it's
my
just-
roll and then he does like a.
I think probably just increase difficulty. Like
Okay.
telling somebody else to do something, it'll probably just kick it up a difficulty. What is it you're trying to have them do?
Basically have the drone follow that.
Okay.
So I'm just.
I think that I don't know. That might be something that's more manual. I would think you'd probably have to like manually control that. Like it's one thing to set it on a pattern, but it's another thing to actually follow like impromptu turns. And I feel like that's probably something you have to do. You could talk them through how to control it. We'll say, and then by the time you get back, you might be able to take over the controls at that point.
Rust. This dad just wants to look out for his son, so he's gonna let him take him. So
Poor bastard doesn't understand the war he's fighting.
try to tell him. He just, I mean, I get it, but just
Well, when his
dumbass.
kid disappears and he gets thrown in a straitjacket himself, he'll be cursing the day that he failed to pay attention to the soldiers who are fighting for him. But we can't
Try to
save
tell him.
every fool.
try to tell him. We're gonna need a pickup. Be careful though. I don't think they've figured out my van yet, and I'd like them not to. But the quicker we can get back to each other, I'm gonna have the drone follow him. Maybe this will work out if we can follow.
Hey, no problem, Maria. I'm actually just down the block. I'm watching all of it from where I'm sitting.
You already drove the van.
Yeah. And just in case I had to, ram through the house to pick you up or, run over those goddamn security guards. Sorry, sister. Sorry, I didn't mean to take the Lord's name in vain. I apologize, sister.
You never have to apologize for me for that, but glad your driving went well. Just wait for them to leave.
Okay. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be.
Well, it's a van. I mean, you didn't start with something easy, so but wait for them to leave,
Okay.
then come
Got
by.
So what we'll say is he offers to let you just go out back, wait until we're gone if you want to stay off their radar, whatever it is. And so is that what is that what you want to do, or do you want to like confront them, or is there anything else you wanted to do, or you just want to kind of let it like kind of step back? Do you take up Wes's offer of like waiting around for them to leave first?
Yeah, and like Elaine will offer to help, like if they need help getting go bags ready.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maria will
okay.
just talk to Alvin, just be like, you already fought one of these guys, and they've got multiple in the area. Is this a good time to do this?
No, I don't see a reason to. This is our best lead and we're losing it, but can't just beat up everyone that gives us difficulties.
Okay. So then what we'll say is that that happens, then you wait in the back, you help them get a go bag, Elaine, and then they leave, they lock up, they leave. Rust, you can see that the vehicles start to peel out, and like clockwork, the other two that were posted up, they move too. You do your best to kind of heed Maria's instructions to sort of navigate the drone enough. And they're also kind of moving like a caravan anyway. There's like 3 of them together, so it's not that difficult. And eventually, Maria, you come back, you're able to kind of take control of your drone and kind of continue to follow them. And they take, no surprise, they take them back to Valleywise Mid. So like it goes exactly where you think it's going to go. We'll say that the meeting with Landon's probably took an hour and a half or so. So we're kind of getting 5 o'clock. You know, it's definitely end of work day. Traffic starting to pick up a bit. Things are getting a little bit more gridlock. Only a few hours left of light left. What's next for you all?
Well, I mean, he told you that like that the general area this thing is hunting in, right? He said every night it's over in a certain block radius, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we go up, post
everything.
up there, use your drone. Maybe I sit down as a homeless victim and draw the thing in, and then we kill it.
So something that Eileen wants to do first was he said that last night was at the train yard was the last attack. She wants to look up and see if last night if their like van or whatever was up by the train yard and where it's going to be today.
Oh, like the Valley Medcorp van?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. I think you actually did something like this already. Where you guys tried to see if there was any pattern. Or something
I
like
think
that at
we
one
did it
point.
after the hours of operation, like it was already done.
Okay. So you're just trying to determine if there is a connection between where the van is and where that monster attacks.
Creature
Is that what
is.
you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So and you're doing this by like consulting like their web, like they have the schedule for the van online.
Yeah.
And you know, based upon the description of what you've heard from Jonathan, like where some of these places are.
Yeah.
Mentioned a cemetery, mentioned like an old kind of industrial plumbing warehouse or something like that, mentioned train yard, mentioned alleyways downtown, and you're trying to kind of do some sort of pinpoint to this. I think intelligence and skill-wise, did you have an idea of what skill you wanted to use? I mean, investigation maybe, or...
Yeah, I was thinking like either like investigation or like technology because she's like doing it online. But
Okay.
investigation probably makes more sense.
It looks like you have the same amount of pips in either, so yeah, go ahead and roll. Yeah, go ahead and roll. You can roll your tech. That's fine. Let's see. I would just put this as it's a fairly straightforward. I don't think it's too difficult to sort of track this down. It's just more of kind of doing some pattern overlapping, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it. So two successes is all you need.
Got 3.
All right, 3 is good. You don't notice a precise overlap. So it doesn't seem as though where the med van is a precursor for an attack by the creature. There's definitely overlap, though. So you certainly can see that there are some sites, like some sites where the med van stops. That's kind of near the cemetery. It's near this like sort of plumbing fittings warehouse place. That's downtown. That's by the train yard, etc. Like, there's definitely overlap. It does seem like both are within the same neighborhoods, but it doesn't seem like one necessarily is. It doesn't look causal. Like they definitely look correlated, but not caused.
Okay.
All right.
Where is it at today?
Today, so the med van that you were tracking, today it was actually over near this like industrial center. Like it's a kind of a known squat house just to the southeast of where the stack is. So it's sort of like this. If anything, it was probably that industrial plumbing place, or kind of close to it.
Okay.
So, but again, there's some dates where like it shows up. Like an attack happens, you think near this, but you don't have enough data on like all the attack victims. Like you don't have like all that stuff to really track it out. You only have basically like 3 points and like a couple other vague ideas from Jonathan. So You don't have
Okay.
full data yet to make a full conclusion on this, but you're not
Yeah.
seeing anything obvious.
She's
yet.
just trying to gather it so she can eventually like get like a solid outline going.
Okay. All right. So then, what's the plan? What are we doing now?
Yeah, like Quixote's idea earlier. Just post up in this general area, see if we can catch it out.
Okay. Do you
Hey.
do it? Go.
Maria, or Alvin maybe, or Evelyn. I don't have any myself, but maybe if we use me as bait and we have handcuffs and I already have one around my wrist and the thing attacks me, we can handcuff it to me and then it can't run away and then we could just beat it to death.
I mean, you remember how fast it ran, right?
That's why I want to handcuff it to myself.
I don't
think-
know if that would stop it.
Well, that's okay. Then it's got to drag me the whole time and I'll just beat it while it runs. We're soldiers. We got to be willing to sacrifice the ultimate sacrifice in the name of victory against the unseen evil.
I'm with Elaine. I feel like that thing climbing you up a telephone pole. It's a
Yeah. I just feel like we don't have enough information. We don't even. You guys tried hitting it before.
They got hurt. Alvin heard it.
I think learning a little bit more about its weaknesses would help us.
Yeah.
Yeah, more people died that way, but all right. All right, I'm just one soldier in this squad.
I mean, if the opportunity presents itself tonight, I mean, that's one way to gather information.
So do you got handcuffs then?
I do not.
We could do a
Damn.
roll for it. Do it. Do one of you have what are your edges? Do any of you
I
have
have it.
edges that?
Maybe something that will work. I've improvised gear.
Okay.
Hmm.
So maybe not like actual handcuffs, but something that could, could
Lock
be
and chain
used.
set or something?
Lock a chain, or maybe
Yeah,
some zip
me-
ties or something.
Look up what
Um,
exactly that was.
So intelligence science. So improvised gear. Let's see. Let's take a look at this again. So on a winning edge test at difficulty 4, you're able to create short-lived but helpful equipment from ordinary items. The equipment can assist in the use of a single skill, providing a 2 dice advantage. So that's what improvised gear is. So you would basically be rolling a science int to try to use whatever you guys have in the van to make some sort of like manacle, like improvised manacles, something to sort of either adhere him to somebody else or adhere him to a pole or whatever it is you're adhering him to. You want to do that, Alvin?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So difficulty 4. It's right there in the description. I really got to read these descriptions. I forget that some of them actually give difficulties. I don't even have to call them out. All right.
My global
So-
access looks like it's going to come in handy eventually.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and roll when you're ready. If you want to take an audience die, we have a couple left.
Yeah, I only have 3, so I'll take 1 here.
Okay, with a
All,
difficulty
all
4.
successes. Yeah, let's go.
Does anybody? So before you roll it, I think you can still assist. So if anybody wants to assist on this, if you have a skill in what do we say, science? That's the skill. Yeah, the skill is science. If anyone has any skill points in science, like you could actually teamwork up here and give them a bonus die.
I've got 2 pips in science.
Cool. So you can take one for, so to say Elaine and Alvin are in the back, kind of scrounging. Maria's driving, and the two of you are doing it. Quixote, do you have a pip in science? Not sure what the. I didn't think so. I didn't want to be insulting, but that doesn't sound like Rust's jam.
Yeah, that's not his
Uh,
wheelhouse.
He's walking around, the 3rd grade education based on when he was possessed. So
So let's see, science. Okay, so you're rolling it. Okay.
Oh no.
3. Not quite.
All right. So what we'll do
Oh.
is I don't want to say it's impossible because 3 is pretty good. So we'll do a fail forward thing. I'll say that because the difficulty 4 would produce something that gives you a 2 dice advantage on a roll to like kind of like we'll say that your 3 successes, it produces that you have some sort of manacles or some sort of you probably have, you gotta dig through whatever Maria might have back there, leftover drone equipment or just probably maybe some of her plumbing supplies or something like that, and you make something, but it's going to give only like a 1 die advantage as opposed to 2.
Gotcha.
So it's not
That's
going to be
fair.
as good. So it'll be easier to break out of and might not last as long, but will give you some time. All right. Okay.
Can we say, like, would it be reasonable to say that I might have exchanged phone numbers with the dad?
Yeah, you have.
I definitely
you
did, yeah.
You have contact
You did.
information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Elaine, would you mind reaching out to him and seeing if he would be willing to give us the numbers, or if for is it Anna or
Anna and Bowie.
yeah.
Yeah, and Bowie. Okay. Okay. I mean, we could say
You
I
still
have no
got the
problem-
kid's phone, right?
Yeah. You guys.
Oh, do we?
Well, I'll say if you.
I could say I could forward that information.
Yeah,
when I was looking at it.
Yeah.
that's the type of thing where I don't really. It's fine if we wanted to say that you took those down, or you followed up that question when we went to a different part of the scene, like where
Yeah.
Alvin
Like when
standing
I
at the
was
table.
outside or something.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's a simple enough question.
Cool.
That's fine.
Okay.
So you have contact info for his friends. That's fine. Okay.
'Cause I think we might want to try to get more information about what kinds of things are its weak points.
So, I mean, you had the video, and the only thing you really saw in terms of like their interaction was that they were just sort of throwing stuff at it to get it, and it kind of scared it away. It didn't seem like it turned on them, but instead it like once it was done sort of feeding on Jonathan, and then got attacked towards the end of it. It just ran. It didn't like turn and fight them. So, and these are just teenagers without any weapons. It just ran, and it ran fast. Like you can tell this thing can move with great acceleration.
It really concerns me that he's sleeping, but since he's seeing through his eyes, he's not resting. You know?
He'll be able to rest as soon as we kill this thing.
I hope so.
Okay.
Hope so too. The dad was just not patient enough to wait for that to happen.
All right.
I
So I want to kind of push forward a little bit here. So you guys have developed a manacle system thing. You have a general plan of using rust as bait. I guess the next question is, where are you kind of laying this trap? Is there anything else that you're doing in terms of like acquiring items? Because you have a couple hours before nighttime. So I said it was like 5. So you guys probably got about 2 hours before dark. And from what you can tell, it was only attacking at night. Or at least the dreams were only happening at night. And if the connection between dreams and attack is what you think it is, it's only happening at night. So then, are there any other preparations you're doing, or any other items you're trying to acquire? Where are you setting up the trap, etc.?
I think hopefully maybe we can use the drone to try to pinpoint its movement as it starts coming into an area, and then we can collapse the ambush site down based on its hunting pattern.
Okay. That sounds great.
I would love to. I don't know if this is something that we can get, but like animal dart guns that like have like little trackers on them.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Like to tag it? Oh.
Yeah,
tag it,
Elaine
yeah.
wants to tag it so that she can track its movements.
Okay. Do any of you...
But does anybody have firearms?
Okay, this is really funny because at one point during our session 0, we had mentioned maybe somebody was tied.
I have
to,
one
like,
playing Animal Ken.
Okay, so that's more for animal handling, like trying to like you're
Oh,
good
okay.
with dogs and cats, right?
That's all I'm good at right now.
But
yeah.
during session 0, someone brought up like an animal sanctuary as maybe a location, but no one picked up on it. So someone in the audience said that, and no one actually wanted to do it. I
Oh,
even
me.
put it on, but no one. No.
remember
I
that.
asked
Yeah.
if anyone and no one took it. No one took it up. So do any of you have actual contacts that you've already listed that would have access to this equipment?
I have a contact who I didn't label, Dina Hodges, of like
Okay.
what she does.
All right.
So perhaps she's a tier 3 contact. So
Okay. She's a tier 3 contact. Okay.
so maybe she's like part of like animal control
Okay.
or
So-
something to that extent.
Okay. We're doing this on the fly. So Dina Hodges, animal control. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Okay. And so she's a 3 pip contact.
Yeah.
So why don't we... All right. And you're trying to, at a relatively last minute, you're trying to get some specialty gear from her. So stall for me while I look something up and explain how you met or know Dina as I look something up for us.
So, Elaine really loves her neighborhood, right? So one of the things that she does is she noticed that the cat and like stray dog population is a little crazy. So she does TNR for fun, trap, neuter, release. So in doing so, she met Dina, and they have become good friends. And there was a situation where there were these type of other animals that wasn't, I don't know what it could be, but it was something other, and it was attacking local animals, and Elaine helped her track it down.
Other
And-
animals like coyotes, or other animals like
No, it was
unknown?
something other.
Chupacabra.
Yeah, it was almost like a chupacabra. I think I didn't get to study it because the cell I was with at the time just eliminated it. There was no studying. But that was Dina's introduction to the fight.
And Elaine makes a mental note to keep her cat away indoors a little. This was a while ago, though, right?
Yeah, this was when I first moved down, so this is about 3 years now.
Is tier 3 the highest contact you can get?
I think it is. I'm trying to see. Do you have the page? I can't find the page for contacts. I'm trying to see what you auto get for that and what you would have to roll for.
Oh, I thought I wrote it down.
Because it's a perk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of
one
my
of the perks you
perks.
took, right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And I
Let me
can't
find
find
it.
a page for perks because it's not listed in the...
See, 3-point contact, 1 contact who can do or get something expensive or hard for you, equal to resources 4. Examples: security system experts, organized strike teams, narcotics agents,
Okay.
etc. So
I think
Yeah.
a tag gun is far less than that, probably.
Okay.
So yeah, you can. Okay, sure.
Maybe
so
this-
we'll say. Okay, so yeah, well, you contact Dina Hodges. Okay,
Yeah.
here's what
Hey,
here
is your
yeah,
truck in the area?
Okay, you call her up. Okay, let's see, what does she say? Oh, you're making me role play this. Is my truck in the area? I want to say
Yeah.
Dina's got herself a southern accent of some kind. My truck in the area? What do you mean, my truck in the area? My truck's always in the area. I ain't out of town. I'm working.
No, I know.
What do you want, girl?
I need a tracking gun.
You need a tracking gun.
Yeah.
You ain't even got no pets.
I need to tag something other.
What do you need to tag? What is it neighbor of yours, isn't it?
No, I mean that's a great idea actually, but no. You know how
I hand a perfect excuse to Ashley, and she says, "Not yes, and." She says, "No."
well no,
shoves it
because
back
she
in my face.
she's done like
Giving you the
other things with me. But you know,
Wait, she's in the know? Like she
she's in the
knows?
know. She's
Okay.
in the know.
All right.
We
Okay.
got
All right.
a situation.
All right. That's it. I get you. Okay. All right. Where are you at? Where can we meet?
Where are you at? I can come to you.
Man, why you gotta ask me questions? I just had to change my screen and look at a bunch of other things. I mean,
Just
I'm
10
mobile.
minutes away.
I'm
Just
on
10
the
minutes away.
Okay,
I-17
yeah.
about.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty long highway that is an interstate. Really doesn't narrow. You know what?
Yep.
Well, and
You-
then the conversation continues. And
Dina, you know me in directions. Shit.
Okay. So we'll say yes. You meet up. You get a tag gun from Dina. Sure, no problem. Okay, so we've got a tag gun. We've got manacles of some kind, and I'm gonna say, let's see. You had one van that you're all driving around in. You had a meetup. You were kind of traveling around. Is there anything else that you were doing for prep?
And does everybody have guns?
Yeah,
I think
in case it does run.
we
I know Elaine has
established
one. Elaine's got one. I know that.
that we had. I can't remember if we had 2 or 3 guns.
What did we get from your armory?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was 2
That's
guns.
what you got. Yeah, and I think the armory level, you guys just got basic guns. It wasn't like anything special. I think it was like lower tier because there's like different.
Yeah,
tiers
Elaine's
of
just
guns.
got like a Glock.
Yeah, it's
Um,
pretty. You got simple stuff.
So
not like
I
high-powered rifles or any of that.
I don't know. So I know this kind of logic may not quite follow, but when we all have our eyes at the moment. When you have eyes, what stuns or bothers you?
Oh,
I'm
you mean like
thinking-
the bright lights.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's pretty smart. That's pretty
Oh.
crafty.
Just get one of those high power flash mag lights.
A halogen flash lamp. That's what we need.
Oh, there we go.
Brightest thing we can get.
You have a flashbang?
I
Through the
think
door.
I think you can easily I think things like a big flash, yeah, like big lights. I think that's something you can hit a hardware store. You can probably find something of use to. That's not something we need to roll for.
Yeah.
And I say at that point, and you've already hit your I think you already hit your armory this morning
Yeah.
before you
Yep,
left.
yep.
So you have a couple guns. Dole them out. Who's taking the tag gun? I do want to establish that now because that's probably the most important thing to establish. Who is going to take the tag gun and who is going to be the one who's responsible for that?
Who
I have-
has firearms?
I have 1 in firearms.
More than me. So
This is
Firearm
not-
is firearms composure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Firearms composure is the most common combo.
So I've got 5 between
Yeah,
firearms
getting
and
the gun.
composure.
I don't believe in guns.
You should meet one of Adam's characters in our Deadlands game.
he'll just rip your throat out. But he,
Yeah,
That
very
was not
similar.
violence.
You guys are very similar. I don't think Alvin's taken that vow. I think he still likes violence. He just likes to use his hands. He likes to feel it in his fingers. Okay, so do you all want to do
it's
this
more
now?
personal that way.
Yeah, because we're at 2 hours, so I don't want to push people beyond when you're comfortable playing. So, like, we're literally at 2 hours now, so we could save this for next session, or you can try to pull this trap off now. I'm game either way. So, but it's up to you. If going beyond the 2 hour our 2 hour time is too much, I'm totally cool with that. So, what say ye all?
Cody's a killer. He's always in.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, I'm in.
okay, we're in. Okay,
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll probably go maybe a half an hour more. So we'll say that. Okay, so let's do this. So you've got the same sort of the neighborhood, which again, it's not this huge neighborhood. It's just like it's actually a much smaller quadrant of Central City that you've been able to sort of narrow it down to already. You've got your drone up. We'll say night has come. Coyote, you've sort of, you've got your get up to look like you're just some
My normal clothes. Yeah.
normal clothes. I was gonna say that. I'm like, maybe you just, I don't know. Maybe you just
He's
walk
just dressed
out
like himself.
normal. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Maria, you've got both the drone and the tag gun, correct? Okay, so you're on tech. Okay, and then Alvin and Elaine. So if Quixote's being bait, Maria's piloting the drone and is on standby for the tag. What are Alvin and Elaine doing then?
We get a driver. Guess we
Okay,
need to
so
like
Alvin's
pinpoint
driving?
one place.
Okay. And don't forget, there's also the manacle situation. Like, who's responsible for that?
I think
like, who's
Coyote's
carrying
got the
those?
manacles.
Okay, Coyote's got
So
the
he can,
perfect.
if it does jump Coyote, he's going to manacle it.
Okay, all right. And then Elaine, what are you up to? What's your part in all this?
I think my part in all this is to just kind of keep watch to see if Walkram
wielder
is in
of the
the area.
flashlight.
Yeah,
Notice the
and
light
then
too. Yeah.
and then
Flash
like
lamp down.
with the flash, I'll be the flashbang.
Okay. All right. What was the first thing you were saying? You're doing what?
I generally just like want to keep an eye out for like Lockram,
Walkram.
the security guards if they're in the area.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, fair enough. So why don't let's do a couple rolls then. So let's get a couple of these out of the way. I think we need to do one for Maria for her drone. So why don't we take care of that? So Maria, you got drone jockeys. This is drone jockey. This is control. Wits. What are you doing? What is your combo again? Is it tech wits? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, that's the control roll.
Okay. Okay, so why don't we give this a roll as you're just trying to sort of kind of scout around the area, trying to find like a pattern that kind of makes sense. Alvin, you need a roll to drive. You're fine. Like it's easy enough to drive. Elaine, I think you can roll an awareness then, since you're specifically looking out for lockroom agents. So we'll do it awareness, probably wits, as things are kind of happening quickly. Quixote, I don't think you need to roll a performance test or anything like that. I think it's more just I don't think you have to do a roll for that. I think you're just trying to play bait. So yeah, let's get those. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the tech roll for Maria. Let's do the awareness roll for Elaine.
Yeah, that's a fail for Maria. That is one success.
Okay.
Elaine got 2 successes.
Okay. So yeah, one success on. I actually didn't. I should have called out difficulties. Sorry, I should have done that first. All right, so we'll say one success. It's routine enough to pilot the thing, so you're not like crashing your drone or anything, but your drone's not really picking up any expedient movement. You're not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Elaine, with 2, you do once or twice kind of as like think of this like a long period of time where you're at this for hours. Like you guys are staked out in a specific area.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine, you're kind of keeping an eye out. Maybe you post up and you're not necessarily in the van, or you're like just nearby the van or something like that. And you're looking around, and you do see lockroom cars like drive past. You see other cars periodically. It's not a very active neighborhood at this time of night, but yeah, you do see them. They don't seem to be doing anything other than just patrols. It almost seems like they're just like the cops in this area for some reason. So we'll say a couple hours pass, and at a certain point, because I guess Elaine, you're listening for it. You're the one who's being aware, and Quixote. Actually, Quixote, why don't you roll awareness too, since you weren't really doing anything else? So again, higher the better. Probably minimum of 2.
Awareness wits. Awareness.
Yeah. I like awareness wits. That's cool.
Difficulty 2. That's big no.
Okay. So Elaine, it's really only you, and you guys are separated. Quixote's kind of off by himself in like an alleyway. You've probably got the van parked in a position where you can keep eyes on him. Elaine, you're probably same thing. Maybe you're on foot somewhere nearby, kind of getting a better angle at some of the streets. And Maria, you're in the back of the van or in the passenger side of the van. You're controlling the drone. And Elaine, you're the only one who hears it. There is a scream. You hear someone kind of screaming, "Help! Help!" coming from inside of what you know is like the Sunside Fittings, like old like plumbing supply building that's no longer in service, and it's about a block and a half away from where you guys are kind of set up. It's nearby enough that you can hear like screaming coming from off in that direction. Elaine, you're the only one who picks up.
She runs. She hits her Bluetooth to call Maria, and she takes off going.
Okay, we could probably say you probably all had open lines up. I would think that it's something you all would need to do. So you have open lines up, and you start running. And so you let them know the scream, so everyone else is now aware. What does everyone else do?
Start the car up and pick up Quixote if he's in the area.
Okay, so you screech over, and you pick up Quixote. You hop in the van, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, and you start driving. Elaine, you're the first to kind of arrive. As you heard it first, you're closer, you started running, they had to go pick up Quixote, etc. And you see like this old building. It's probably about 3 stories tall. and you can see that there's sections of it that are kind of missing. You can see it's suffered some heavy damage at some point, or it's under some kind of renovation in some ways. But like there's whole floors missing out, and you see two things on around the second floor. One, you see a man who is near this cutout where a window should be, but it isn't, and he's just screaming, "Ah, help!" And you look up, and there's no eyes. Like you can see these huge shadows. And then, Elaine, the next thing you see and you hear is this, and then as you turn around to look for where the rest of the van are, you see standing 5 feet from you, right there on the ground, is this kind of cloaked figure. He's got this heavy jacket. Looks like it's some kind of like it's almost like a fancy coat of some kind, but it's long been in disrepair. Like you can tell it was like probably a woman's like sort of dress fur coat or something, but it's stained. You can see there's trash in it, likely been recovered. And you can see as it starts to kind of stand up and kind of unfurl this lanky body, you can see the eyes begin to sort of slide and kind of move around, and it's standing about 5 feet from you. And I'm going to say you're right there next to it. The three of you in a van, you're coming from where Quixote was positioned, so you're not quite in this now. But that's the situation. We're moving into combat. Elaine, I'll start with you. What do you want to do in this situation?
Elaine will just... I want to obviously flashbang it, but she's going to say first, "Jonathan, it's okay. It's okay, Jonathan." And then she's going to try and flashbang it.
Okay, so you're going to use the light. You're going to try to distract it with the light in some way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alvin, I think all of you hear Elaine. I mean, I would imagine Elaine is probably communicating like it's here, or something like that, right? So all of you
better
know
take
it's
that
there.
fucking shot. Better
Okay.
take that fucking shot.
So you guys are driving. So Alvin, you're now driving the van up, and then Maria and Quixote, you're both in the van. So this is all kind of, again, all things kind of happen at once. So what do the three of you do as you're trying to drive up now to this situation?
Well, Quixote attaches one end of the manacle to his left arm, and then he's yelling, Just drive by, I'll jump on it.
Okay. All right. Alvin, what do you want to do?
I'm driving to this location, wherever Elaine is at.
So you want to try... Okay, so this... I'm going to ask for a roll, because now we're like kind of doing... Like I'm imagining like an AT. Yeah, and you're leaping out from like the pulled back door of the van. So I think there's going to be 2 rolls. So we'll figure that out in a second what those are. Maria, what are you doing?
I am readying this gun that Elaine gave me.
Okay, so we're gonna say you guys were a little further away in the van, but you're coming up. Elaine, and you have your plan for what you're gonna do. Elaine, you have a plan as well. Start with Elaine, and then I'm gonna let the monster do something, and then we're gonna resolve your action. So that's how we're gonna handle it, just to sort of account for the distance differential here. So Elaine, you want to try to distract it. Okay. We're going to treat this like a melee, but I'm going to let you roll something other than just melee, because like you're trying to distract it. So Let's see.
I do have melee.
It's up to you if you want, because it's coming for you, because it's definitely coming to attack you, right? But the question is like, do you want to roll to account for the light, or do you want to try to like, because you said you wanted to do the light to try to blind it. And so we can treat that as like your opposition roll to its melee attack on you, or if you wanted to roll melee, that's fine. Like, I don't care.
Oh, we can do that where it's like the opposition roll.
Yeah, so why don't we do... So you have the item. So we can say... I think this is going to be a dexterity, because it's the quickness to kind of get it up and like shine it right. Because remember, this thing moves incredibly fast. So we'll say dexterity for the attribute. And I'm fine if you want to say... I know you've got your tech. I'll just say tech. That's fine. Like, kind of, make sure it's on, make sure it's at the highest setting, whatever it might be. But I can say that. So we'll say you're going to roll Dex Tech, versus a difficulty. Hang on, let me get his difficulty out. And
Uh-oh. That was a face.
general difficulty of 5.
Oh,
Shit.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, I have 5.
Okay.
Can I?
No. No, you may not.
We have 2 left.
Yeah, I'd like 1, please.
Got it.
Oh,
Oh.
fail. I got
That
4.
was so close, Ashley. Oh my god. One of the yeah, that was so close.
I know, I
There's
watched
so
as it-
many eyes, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the good thing is that the differential does matter in terms of like damage and things like that. So I just want to double check. So okay.
So does it have to roll then?
No, it doesn't. You don't
It's just standard.
You
Okay.
can if you want as a GM, you can roll, or you can just to keep it fast and loose. There's equations that you can use. You get half of its difficulty. So when I say something has a particular difficulty, then I'm cutting it in half, and then I'm rolling an extra die to vary it every now and then. That's what that's for. Okay.
Uh-oh.
All right. So
No eyes.
Eyeless Elaine.
as you shine the light up, this thing moves at preternatural speed. It just closes the distance, and before the light has even moved past the knees on this thing that is now in the same process, just shed this heavy coat as it's closing in on you, it's managed to essentially spin you, kind of pin your arms, and you feel one of its hands cover your right eye.
No.
Okay. Now the rest of you are closing in. As you close in, you see this melee is happening. Alvin, you're going to go ahead. Well, we're going to do you first because your roll, this is going to affect other people's rolls. If you fail spectacularly at this drive roll, it's going to be very difficult for it'll increase the difficulty of everybody else. This is going to change.
One thing I would like to remind and put in your, I do have the artifact shield.
Okay.
Or so it just so if I take the artifact shields a hunter from harm by supernatural forces while it is on their person, any physical damage sustained is halved.
Okay, it's not. It didn't do any damage to you.
Okay, but just for
It
happens.
grappled you. Basically, it's
Okay,
grappling
cool.
you, and it's got its hand on your eye. So it's not.
Ooh.
You're not taking any. You're not taking any. There's no. You're not actually taking any damage
Okay.
right
This
now.
is so much worse.
This is worse.
This is worse.
This is worse. You're about to, but not that kind of damage. A different kind of damage.
Yeah.
Mental.
All sand.
Roll sand.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So Alvin, I feel Dex is probably, I think for the attribute, probably the most likely thing here, and there is a drive skill, so that's the skill. So Dex drive.
Any difficulty?
So you're trying to, are you trying to do the cool kind of spin turn?
Yeah, I'm doing drifts. I'm totally drifting.
You're drifting. That's what I thought. All right. Let's make this a difficulty of. I'm looking at my little chart. Let's go difficulty of 3. Because you're not trying to hit it or anything like that. You're just trying to kind of get relatively close and spin. Okay.
Oh, no. We keep missing things by 1.
So what happens then, we'll say, is that as you're driving, you see at the last second, as you're about to turn, this thing lunge towards Elaine, spin her around, wrap her up, and that tiny bit gives you a little bit of a hesitation, so you slightly mistime it. And so now the actual van is just sort of slightly off kilter. You don't crash or anything like that, but Quixote no longer has a clear leap out point. So it's actually going to take Quixote extra time now to charge in. And Maria, if you were to take a shot with the tag gun, we're going to say the shot's slightly more difficult, as again, the passenger side of the vehicle where Russ was about to pop out and Maria was about to fire from, that's not in the optimal side. And so it's just, we hear the screech of the tires. Alvin kind of screws up a little bit. Coyote, you're going to go charging out. I think at this point it's less of a, you don't have to roll. It's just more going to delay you as you hop out now instead of leaping and you're kind of chasing down.
So once he sees that, as he runs out, he starts pushing against the thing because now he's more worried for Elaine than
Right.
anything else. So he's trying to repel it as he charges towards it.
Okay, absolutely. I think that tweaks fine. So we're gonna do the repel the unnatural. So you can do the roll for that. I think you have that set up.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, this is one of his edges. So for the
Actually,
folks
no, it
listening-
doesn't. What doesn't roll off that? So it's resolve
right.
and a
Yeah.
cult. So
Yeah, Colt
now,
and
since
resolve.
this is directly attacking a supernatural,
you can use desperation.
yeah. So I'm gonna.
So it's at 3 right
I'm gonna
now.
use
By the
all
way,
3 of them.
difficulty is going to difficulty is going to be 5.
All right,
Oh my
so
gosh.
we're gonna have some fun with this one.
Yeah,
We're gonna die.
someone's getting an eye patch tonight.
Nothing like a southern pirate.
I'm gonna have to go in and photo edit your little portrait there. A little-
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's a whole lot of
Oh my
blanks
God.
there.
That's
Terrible.
That's
a
just
good
bad
roll.
luck.
Oh my
You can
gosh.
reroll with willpower here.
Yeah,
Yes,
you can
spin
reroll
a-
Oh
three.
yeah,
can roll
yeah,
3
yeah.
dice
We've been forgetting about that.
with willpower. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
Thank you for the reminder, Long.
Yeah, I forgot. So, okay, it's 1 willpower.
All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if you can do more. I think you might even be able to do more than one. Depends on how many willpower you take.
So
that's
that's
4.
4 successes. Still not enough.
4 successes is still it's still not good. As you come up, like you've got you're bearing the sort of the tattoos, because it's your tattoos, right? Like, don't you have like
Yeah, yeah,
markings?
Got the Enochian script on his arms
Right.
and hands.
And you're not seeing it flinch, or maybe it's just sort of like writhing around at this point that it's not even turning its attention to you. It's so engrossed with Elaine at this point that it's not taking hold. Maria, it'll come to you. You can still take the shot, but the shot is a little bit harder now, as like Alvin didn't leave the van in the perfect spot, so the difficulty will probably increase just from that. But because things have changed, like if you wanted to tweak what you're doing and do something else, it's fine. But otherwise, I'll say the difficulty to hit, is going to be modified by 2. So what that basically means is for him. So I'm just checking his stats, so I can give you an idea of like what it's going to be to hit him. 1 second. All right, so ranged attack is going to be composure plus. So you'd be using composure plus firearms to use the tag gun, and then it's versus dexterity athletics. So I would say this is probably something. He is not mobile now since he's kind of grappling on Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, okay. So I'm going to walk you through this. Normally, I would put this at this at a 5 because of how quick and elusive he is.
Mm-hmm.
But because he's mobile, I'll drop that too. But because of the bad positioning of the van, it's going to kind of compensate, and so it's going to end up being 5 anyway. It just kind of gets there a different way. So 5 again to hit if you wanted to give the shot a try.
I don't think I should, because I'd have to basically roll perfect.
And I'll also say if you end up, well, this isn't tapping into your despair either, like your desperation, your creed field, I should say. You can take an audience die if you want. It's fine.
Always hold your shot and see if we can get a better angle on it.
That's my hope, because I feel like we've spun and I'm hanging out the window and I think I've got it, and then it just keeps spinning and it's like out of range.
It just spins a little too far. That's what it is, or something.
Yeah. So I think basically what I'm going to be doing is just getting out of the
reposition on your
van
turn.
and just
Okay.
repositioning. Yeah.
Okay, so we're just repositioning on your turn.
Yep.
Okay. So what happens then is, Elaine, you don't feel any pain. You don't feel any pain. Like, it doesn't hurt. Like, you feel like the physical force of them grabbing you, and they are surprisingly strong for their kind of lithe. Like, they have a very lithe body. So let me drop the picture up for. No, that's the wrong one. I think I have it up. So the There it goes. Sorry. So you can feel it kind of grappling around you, and you can feel like there's like you think there's a musculature, you're not sure, but as you're really close, you can sort of look down with the eye that isn't being covered. It almost looks like it's like skin. It almost looks like this forearm you're staring at, where there's an eyeball looking right up at you. Like it almost looks like all that skin is just one long kind of wiry like eyelid that's been extended and twisted, and like you see these eyes kind of pop out of. But you don't feel any real pain. But you do feel its hand kind of move away from your face.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, your eyesight is a little something sort of bothers you, and you see its hand pull away, and you with your other eye that wasn't covered, you watch as an eyeball suddenly emerges in the palm of its right hand. And then you can tell me what you would like to do.
Am I still being like grappled with the other arm?
Yeah, you can. It's got an arm on you.
Yeah, Elaine's gonna. I want to try and break the grapple to at least like get space.
Absolutely.
I want to keep my other eye if I can.
Okay. And then Quixote and Maria, you're out of the van. What is it you two want to do? As all four of you will be on the same
Maria's
team.
aiming for the shot.
Okay, so you're gonna take your shot. Quixote, what do you want to do?
Quixote is he's still going to charge in and try to get this manacle on this thing's arm.
Okay, I think we'll call that probably a melee as you're trying to. Yeah, we'll call it that. Maria, you got your firearms roll and stuff. Alvin, what would you like to do?
Hop into the van, just charge at it.
Okay, so we'll say you're just going to charge in, and you're just going to try to tackle it. You're going to try to punch it. Is there anything in particular?
Just hold it in place so we get a nice shot from Maria.
Okay. All right. So a couple things. So we'll do this kind of piecemeal. So Elaine, why don't you first try to see if you can break the grapple? So we'll start there. So roll. Oh man, I'm sorry. This is gonna be a difficulty of 5.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, it's your face.
What if I just try and stab it?
I mean, it's the same. It's going to be the same deal. Actually, no. We'll call it a difficulty. Yeah, we'll call it a difficulty of 4. I will say, because it did kind of. I did
for
say
stabbing.
It moved, no, difficulty of 4 for breaking the grapple, because it did kind of move his other arm off you. So we'll make it 4. As one of its arms is no longer like wrapped around you. It's only got the one, so it's going to be a little bit easier.
Okay.
So start there, and we'll see if that breaks free.
What am I rolling?
It's what's it called? It's brawl strength, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is what you're
this
looking
is
for.
bad.
Yeah, brawl strength.
This is bad. I only have 3 dice.
Yeah, sorry.
Or you can stab.
If you prefer the stab, it's fine.
Okay.
It's gonna be the same difficulty though.
Okay. Would it be strength melee or a dex melee?
I think it should be. In this case, it's gonna be strength probably, because you're still trying to some degree kind of gain control. So I would still say strength. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, strength melee if you've got a weapon.
We are rolling it. Yeah, I'm gonna be hitting him with the flashlight that I was holding.
Oh
Oof.
no!
Fail. 1 success.
Gosh.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Roll
lose
like
my other eye. I'm gonna lose my eye.
Okay, so you failed by 3. So you actually are, in this case, you will actually take something for this. However, this is going to be more difficult. So it's going to make what's going to happen though is it's going to make this a little bit easier for Quixote and Alvin to do what they're doing, because like it's now contending with you trying to stab it, and it's going to because it's putting a lot of its attention onto you. It's going to make successive rolls against it probably a little bit easier because of the way like the chaining defense works.
You're gonna go blind, but for
difficulty. So I said difficulty 4.
for
You rolled 1 success, so that's 3. It's just gonna be 3 damage. You've got your what's it called? You've got your
My
your
shield artifact.
Okay, so read the shield thing to me again one more time. I'm sorry.
So the artifact
looked at
shields the hunter from harm by supernatural forces. While it is on their person, any physical damage sustained from supernatural sources is halved, or
Okay.
halved again in the case of superficial damage.
Yeah. So since there's a knife in play now, and it's basically the you and
It's a
it
flashlight.
wrestling with a knife. Oh, it's a flashlight? I think
Yeah.
you were stabbing.
Well, like beating back at it
Okay.
with a melee weapon.
Okay. So it would have been we'll call it superficial damage. So I think ultimately you're probably not going to end up taking any damage between first having it and then having it again. So I don't think like at most I think you probably would take like one superficial damage. I don't
Okay.
like you basically just gonna get whacked in like the face with your own flashlight is basically what happens.
Okay.
All right, then Kyote and Alvin. Kyote will say you're a little bit closer, so why don't we go with you second? We'll say your difficulty is going to be 3 to manaclet, as you can see, it's right now wrestling a little bit with Elaine. When you get close, Russ, you do notice Elaine is missing an eye.
The wounds we carry as soldiers.
Yeah.
And was that melee or brawl and strength?
So you're trying to specifically use the manacles to sort of I think this is sort of like a grapple, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say brawl in this
Okay.
case, because you're not trying to damage it with melee. You're just trying to like kind of adhere it in place. So we'll say brawl,
And I get a bonus die for the manacle?
and and +1 bonus die for the manacle. Yeah.
And I get 3. And I'm going to go ahead and use my desperation dice again because
Okay.
why not?
Okay.
And you said 3 difficulty, right?
3 difficulty in this case.
I'm pretty desperate. Rust is pretty desperate. He's feeling it.
Yeah. That's a much better roll. It looks like.
Hey.
Total
5.
success. 5 successes. Okay. So you come up, and since you're specifically just trying to like manacle it, you're not you're not trying to like stab it or punch it. So that'll succeed. And I'll say, as a bonus for the 2 extra successes, so you because you exceeded it, instead of doing actual damage to it, we'll say you come up, you manacle it, and you manage to sort of like shove Elaine off of its grip. And so Elaine, you kind of stumble out of the grapple now. You're free. Kyote, you're adhered to this thing. Elaine, you spin around. All of you can now see Elaine, her right eye is just this empty space. There's just nothing there. Her left eye is intact, however. Alvin, you can see Kyote has managed to do the manacle thing. You're charging up. What would you like to do?
Try to hold it in place, just make sure it doesn't go anywhere.
Okay. So you just are you trying to like tackle it to the ground or what?
Either tackle or grapple it so Maria can get a shot off.
Okay. So
Like grab the other arm.
Yeah. On the ground would probably be harder for me to shoot, I would imagine. So just keeping it.
well, I mean, like there's 2 people that are now are attached. If Alvin starts hugging it and Quixote is attached by the wrist to it, and you're trying to fire at it from a distance, like that. I mean, the shot's gonna be hard to like pinpoint it. So it might even be easier to tackle him to the ground, pin him to the ground, and Maria walk up and just like shoot straight down. So I mean, in my head, that's how I'm seeing it.
That's a
but
good point.
Got
Yeah.
I'm open to.
And are we shooting the tracking or are we just like shooting it? Sorry, we got it now.
I mean, yeah, you
Ish.
guys do
That is
have
true.
it, sort of. It can potentially break away, but like, you know.
I definitely
Alvin.
want it to be tracked in case it gets away.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
for tackle. Maybe get a prone on it.
Okay, so go ahead and roll. It'll be. Okay, I get no extra bonus. This is going to be difficulty of 2, actually, as you guys have sort of surrounded it at this point.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like it's got to be tracking, just worst case scenario. Oh my gosh.
Hey, I got 2.
You got 2 successes, so you do manage to take it to the ground, but no extra damage on top of it.
How about a willpower? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're burning a willpower to try to reroll.
Yeah, I'm gonna reroll 3 here.
Okay, so roll. Okay, so go ahead and roll your 3.
I got 1 extra.
1 extra success. Okay, so so we'll say you do additional. I mean, it's superficial, unfortunately, so it smashes down to the ground. You don't really hear a or a grunt. You don't. Again, there's no mouth there's no nose. It's just this, so you can't really register whether or not it felt any pain as you tackle it to the ground. But Quixote, you're standing, your arms tethered to it with the manacle. Alvin, you're on the ground on top of it. It's writhing around at this point. You can see the eye that it stole from Elaine is kind of shifting now along the wrist. Maria, it comes to you. What do you want to do? Like, I think you said you were going to shoot it, but like, you have, like, if you wanted to switch out guns or whatever, I'm fine with that. It's up to
Yeah,
you.
I'm kind of in the worst case scenario, like tracking it.
Okay, so you want to make sure you tag it before, in case
Yeah.
something happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Honestly, the difficulty as you kind of step up to it, it's kind of writhing around. I'll leave it at difficulty 2 in this case. So keep it at difficulty 2 because you're trying to avoid hitting Alvin in the back of the head.
All right, that is a 4 successes.
Okay. So you manage to, and we'll say it even kind of like you can, like, right in the head, you just see it just sort of embed into that sort of weird kind of skin-like wrap, and it embeds down in one of the eyes, kind of shifts a little bit further away from where the wound. But yeah, there is now a tag like right there in its head. Okay. New round. It's on the ground. It's tethered to Quixote. It hasn't, as far as you know, taken any significant damage, but it is in place. How long it stays that way, we'll see. And you do have it tagged. Elaine, you're missing an eye. I would like you at this point to roll a willpower test as you now come to the realization that you, yeah.
5.
You keep it together. You don't suffer any willpower damage. You keep it together with those 5 successes.
Nice
I wanted
roll.
I wanted 3. You keep it together, and you're good to go. Okay, so what do you all want to do now?
Elaine would like to get her knife out of her bag because that's why I didn't stab it in the first place, because it was in
Gotcha.
my purse.
Gotcha.
And she wants to try and like hack at the arm where my eye is, like, traveling up the wrist.
All right, fair enough. There are many eyes on here, but you're pretty sure the one that was in his palm and is moving is probably yours.
Was mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alvin and Quixote, you're on top of it. What do you two want to do?
Quixote would again repel against this thing so it can take no action against him while he's on top of it, or try to at least.
All right. Alvin, you have it on the ground.
I'm going to start gouging its eyes out. Whatever eyes I see, I'm just going to go in with
start
my fist
smashing
and
eyes?
start pulling them out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Maria, what are you doing?
Maria's going to switch to actual firearm.
Okay. So you got your regular gun out and you're going to take a shot at it. Okay. So it is clearly trying. So it's what it's going to clearly be trying to do is break away as best it can. It's trying to escape. You can feel it writhing. You have it pinned down to the ground. It's trying to get away. So if rolls go in its favor, that's essentially what will happen. All right, we can go in any order really at this point. We'll just go by the overlay. Alvin, why don't you go ahead and take your roll to gouge at it. So the difficulty for gouging its eyes out, we're gonna treat this as a difficulty of 5. As you're trying to gouge bits and pieces of its eyes. The differential will be how many eyes you manage to get.
Unfortunately, I rolled 3.
Damn.
We'll power that up.
Oh yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, willpower reroll.
Should have done that earlier. I totally forgot about it.
It was just reminded to you.
Makes it
Oh,
even
no.
5.
Wait.
So you've got a total of 5. So we'll say you start smashing and you're ripping out a couple different eyes. And so not a ton, but you get a few and you can just see you're just ripping them right out. And they're moving and you have to grab them like they're cockroaches suddenly moving really fast. You reach down and you see the sort of the nerve fibers just kind of pull and then snap and it comes free, and the eyelid skin just kind of closes down. You rip the next one out. Again, no noise, no sound, nothing, but you can feel it spasming a bit as you do so. You're not sure if it's if it's hurting it, but you're shocking it in some way for sure. Okay, let's see. Elaine, I think you were also going to stab it as well.
Yeah, I want to like hack at the arm
Okay.
to like
specifically at
try
the
and
arm.
sever it. Yeah.
Okay. Difficulty of 4.
Okay. Melee strength.
You are doing. Yeah, you're doing a knife, so melee strength. Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice.
4.
Right on the dot.
Yay.
Okay. What's the damage on your knife? Did you put that in?
Oh no,
I think I have.
I'm in trouble.
How dare
It's
you.
just like a regular pocket knife
How
kind of thing.
dare you?
I am the problem child of this campaign.
Yeah, I don't think I have gun in mine either.
How dare you?
Weapon damage is +2 value.
Depends on the item. The item itself could have could give you more damage. It's differential plus weapon, and so 5. So she hit the target number, but so the only damage she's actually going to be doing is whatever she gets on the weapon, which is a knife, and you're trying to cut it off. Okay. So let's get to equipment really quick. I thought I had a handout for that, but I guess I don't. My bad. 100.
I knew I had some sort of homework that I was supposed to do from last time.
All right, so you're
Oopsies.
using a knife. Let's call this probably looking at the different
Plus-
items.
Switchblade is +2.
+2. That's probably
Yeah.
the closest approximate. So it's going to take 2 points of damage. So that's not enough to cut the arm off.
Yeah.
But it's definitely enough to start. Like the blade is clearly in, and you can
I am
you're
trying.
doing your best to sort of rip through it, and you've managed to kind of cut the escape track of your eye off. Okay. Then Kyote, you're trying to do the repel. So go ahead and roll that. Yours is gonna be. It's not affected by the melee change. So this one's gonna be. Treat this like difficulty. I think 4. Yeah, 4.
Nine.
But
It's that exclamation point.
That's not good.
okay. So this is the first time we've actually had this happen. So first of all, so you used your despair dice, and so when you roll desperation dice, excuse me, when you roll that and you roll a 1 on any of them, a couple things happen. First, you have to look at whether or not you succeeded or you failed. You succeeded just fine with how many successes did you have? Like 100?
9.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. So
A
then.
lot.
Okay, so then once you kind of figure that out, you have to determine whether or not you want to overreach or whether you want to go into a despair. Because since you did this, so overreach, what that would be is each 1 on the desperation die increases danger by 1. You guys are. So we've been keeping the danger track hidden from players. So players don't actually know where they're at, but this would increase it. And you only rolled 1, so it would increase it by 1 in this case. Or you do despair, which means the test is going to automatically fail, regardless of the roll, and you can't use your drive and all that kind of stuff.
No, I think based on who Quixote is, it's definitely overreach. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah.
he thrives on the danger of the mission. So
Okay.
sorry,
Danger.
guys.
Okay.
He's gonna get us all killed.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you sort of kind of go through the focus, you sort of recite whatever it is that you want to recite to kind of help with this particular enchantment. You see this thing writhe. You see some of the wrappings of its skin begin to kind of peel back, revealing some fleshy some indeterminate looking, like, not sure if they're organs or some sort of mass underneath, but they certainly have a similar structure, you would say, to any kind of other humanoid. But it starts to writhe around and it's thrashing now violently, and you can see, like, it's while it's recoiling from you, it's also becoming far more violent in its movements, and it's kind of swinging out at Alvin. It's kind of, you can feel it kind of tugging a bit on your arm, and even though it's not intentionally harming you, like you're feeling the tug of the manacle. The manacle itself is, you're starting to see where getting like actual professional manacles might have been better, as they're starting to fray a bit ever so slightly, and it's just a matter of time before this thing breaks free. Like if you guys don't put this thing away in the next few moments, this thing is going to overpower. And then we come to Maria. You got the gun.
I do.
What do you want to do?
Shoot it.
All right. It's on the ground. It's thrashing around incredibly violently now. We're going to make this a difficulty of 4. As you're trying to like shoot down at it.
I'm going to take the last audience dice.
Okay.
Hopefully that'll be okay. Got my pool together and rolling, and that is a awful roll.
Okay.
That is 1 success. Rolling 6 dice.
Do you want to burn some willpower to try to re-roll that?
Yeah. What's the rate of that again?
1 point to re-roll up to 3, and you can spend. I think you can spend multiple willpower to do that. So you could spend 2 willpower, to re-roll 6, for example.
Yeah, I'll spend 2 to re-roll the 5 that were failures.
I think actually Elaine's pulling the arm off. I just took an eye out.
Oh my!
I am trying to rip off an arm. I won't lie.
Wow, that was an awful roll.
We're at that time of the stream where my
2 successes.
My Bluetooth ones are going away, and I have to switch. 2 successes is not enough. You fire away, and while you do hit it, it doesn't seem to hit it in a vital spot, and it just the bullet just sort of embeds in the flesh at this point, and doesn't seem to do anything. Give me 1 second
roll.
to switch.
Can't believe how bad the roll was. Okay, roll 6. Then I re-rolled 5 of them, and still only ended up with 2 successes. And no like 10s or anything. That just might have been useful. Gosh
The
darn it.
dice gods have not been with us tonight.
No, they have not. Not at all. This is bad. We're all going to go blind.
Okay. So the gunshot goes off, and you all hear, as this thing's thrashing around, you suddenly hear the sound of a siren. And you hear it coming from a block or 2 away. And as you're kind of continuing to thrash around, fight this thing, you see speeding around probably about, we'll say, quarter of a mile away, you see sirens of a police, of a police or a security vehicle coming in your direction towards the sound of this gunfire. So you know that there are now others coming. You're still fighting this thing. It's not dead. It's still thrashing around, because the truth is, you guys really aren't doing damage to it. A lot of what you've been doing has just been subduing it or slowing it down, but no one's really been doing any damage to it. It still seems to be in largely good shape. Elaine did a little bit of damage, but as you even as you're stabbing away at it, you're watching as the skin of the eyelid is just sort of stitching itself even ever so slightly back together, like it has some sort of regenerative powers as well. So with that in mind, with this security vehicle coming in your direction, you're fighting this thing on the ground. You haven't, you've certainly managed to pin it, but haven't actually, it doesn't seem like it's any closer to being dead. What do you all want to do this round?
Quixote is going to use his ability to smite it.
Okay.
And do aggravated damage to it.
Okay, excellent. Alvin, Elaine?
I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to drive my fist into where the bullet hole embedded itself.
Okay.
And just drive it further.
All right. The problem with the fists, though, is I do think your fists are still only going to be doing superficial damage.
That's all I can do then.
Yeah. You don't have a weapon or anything on you, or brass knuckles or something?
I do not.
Okay. Elaine, what are you doing?
Fuck, what am I doing?
No, I asked you first.
Uh,
You got a knife still. You can keep stabbing at it. You know you've done stuff to it. It's just,
well, how close is the security vehicle?
Within a quarter mile. It'll get here by the end of this turn. This is you guys have a
probably
choice.
Be trying to leave.
Yeah, that's what Elaine. Oh fuck. Yeah.
Just what is Elaine doing? Don't worry about everyone else is sort of saying what you're doing. You pick what you're doing. Play your character.
Elaine would she's gonna try and find some place to hide because she wants to view and see what the security people do when they arrive. She doesn't want to be caught here.
Okay. You want to go hide? Okay. So
yeah, because she doesn't want to be taken because she lost an eye.
Okay.
She doesn't want them to try and get her to go.
Gotcha. All right. So Quixote is going to be doing his normal roll that he uses for his edge. Elaine, you're going to roll probably a stealth. We'll say Dex as you're trying to move quickly.
Okay.
Alvin, you're rolling your brawl strength. Maria, are you still firing or what are you doing?
Yeah, I would like to move myself back to the van and then shoot it.
Okay, so you want to start retreating. Okay, it's
Yeah.
gonna make the shot harder because you got two people still. Like before, you were right up on it, shooting down, no issues. But as you're backing away, that shot's gonna become harder. We'll say. Okay, we'll start with Alvin and Quixote because they're right on it. Alvin, go ahead and roll your brawl and melee. Quixote, you can roll yours as well. Difficulty. Alvin, it's gonna be 5. Quixote, it's gonna be 4.
Can I go to Desperate?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got 6.
Okay. As you just start ripping eyes out, smashing it in, you can feel like your hand just kind of smushing, almost like the sponginess of the actual skin itself. In some cases, you just catch an eye, and the eye just kind of explodes like it's like a grape you're smashing into. And yeah, you managed to do a little bit of damage to it, but again, it's still thrashing around. It doesn't seem like it's subdued completely. Quixote, go ahead and do yours.
Quixote just puts the palm of his hand down on the thing's face and just says, "Suffer."
Okay.
And I will use 2 willpower to re-roll those 5 dice.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Total successes.
I've got to use the second one still.
Oh, okay. Oh, jeez.
7
Okay,
successes.
7. Okay.
Aggravated damage, though.
You put the hand down. Its face begins to just burn away. You can see like the skin just starts to sort of peel back, revealing that same kind of fleshy undertones of it. Like it's just sort of like this red kind of pulpy underpinning. You see it kind of peel back, and it almost looks like it's just layer by layer coming apart. And it's not bone that it's revealing, but more like a cartilage. Like there is some sort of skeletal structure to it, but it's more kind of like the flexibility of cartilage as opposed to the bone. And in the face is starting to cave and cave and cave. And again, and it's eerie how there's no scream, there's no sound, like there's nothing coming out of this thing. But you have severely damaged this thing. But it is not, and it is suffering from pain, but it does not yet seem to have been. It's still trying to break free.
Then I've got to immediately try to maintain my power by rolling occult and resolve again. What's the difficulty? 4 still, or
so I'll actually treat it like the way multiple melee combats do 3, because it's trying to resist the 1 power. Now it's trying to resist like this other.
Oh yeah, I maintain it.
Okay.
8, man.
Okay, jeez. All right, so Elaine, you can go ahead and roll your stealth as you're just trying to hide. Stealth deck, so you dart into the building and hide. Maria, go ahead and roll your attack. Your attack this time, again, the difficulty's gonna be a little bit harder. Yeah, difficulty 5.
What was my difficulty? I got 2.
It's gonna be like contested based upon the awareness that I'll have of theirs when they come up. So
Okay.
I'll keep it in the back, keep it in your back pocket that you rolled it to.
First roll is 2 successes. I'm gonna spend a willpower to re-roll 3 dice, and still only have 2 stinking successes.
Okay. I warned you when you made your character. You should have put more points in firearms. I warned you. I said this
I
to
have
you, and you
4
didn't
in
listen to me.
composure,
But
and I want to be able
how
to
many
do
in
other things other
firearms?
than just shoot things.
You should have put. If you would have put 3 in firearms, you'd be at 7 dice. and
I
you'd
just
be
rolled
solid.
9 dice and got 2 successes last time, so
Roll better. Okay. So yeah, you fire, and you're just too afraid to hit Alvin. You're too afraid to hit Quixote, and Quixote reaches down, gets even closer at one point, and so like maybe at the last second you have to turn your gun off to the side. The car arrives, and you see popping out. First of all, you all notice, like those of you who are giving it any sort of attention, you all notice it's a lockroom control vehicle, and you can see they pop out immediately, guns drawn. So the doors are open, and you can see they start, like, they're approaching, and like they're not kind of sort of shouting in any sort of specific one of you, but they get out of the car and they look down and they see this thing on the ground, and they like kind of exchange a look at each other, and then they see all of you, and suddenly their guns just kind of move. And they start pointing at you all instead of the creature that's on the ground at this point. And I think because we're like almost 3 hours in, why don't we stop there at this like shift in things, and we'll pick up there the next time we play. As things have gotten a little bit more dangerous as you're.
Fucking knew it.
Okay.
at added danger.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn that music off. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that went long. That went a lot longer than I intended. Okay. It was fun. So,
Elaine.
you guys have made some significant progress in actually damaging this thing, and you guys have. I mean, it was a good plan. It was just some of those initial rolls. The initial drone roll that one hurt. Not being able to kind of see it moving around and pinpoint it a little bit better. Why don't we do some little closing plugs and stuff, and then we'll get out of here. So, Aaron, what do you got going on in Garblag next week?
So Garblag next week, Monday, they're starting City of Mists, and that'll be, I believe, 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. Tuesday, there'll be potentially the last episode of Alien Heart of Darkness, because everybody's probably going to die. Once again, that's at 1:00 Pacific Standard Time. Wednesday, we'll be back for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, Once Upon a Time in the Old World, where Jim will try to kill my character, as he always does. Thursday, I believe Pete will be running some heroic deeds. And then Thursday night, of course, we'll be punching Nazis in Egypt with some Octum Cthulhu. Friday will be Blades in the Dark at 1:00. And then that's Garblag next week.
Awesome. And yeah, Australis, I've definitely been looking at all of the social media of people, especially those I know at Gen Con, enjoying themselves, and I'm beginning very angry. And I'm going to take it out. Now, none of the people here were there, but they just happened to be the first people I'm GMing for since the break. So,
Oh no, tomorrow.
Steven brought me a gift, so Steven's kind of off the
Oh,
hook.
he's free.
The rest of you are screwed. And Heart tomorrow night. Okay, so One Ring tomorrow on this channel. Come hang out with us. We're back to that. Tomorrow night over on Grim and Perilous Plays, I'm running Heart for a lot of our friends, many of whom went to Gen Con.
Oh, you gotta save that for Heart.
Really, the only person who's okay in that. Well, I guess Steven will be okay because he brought me a gift. Jeremy will be okay too because he didn't go. The rest of them are all dead. And then Monday we'll be back to Holla, or what we're calling it now, Holla. I think that's our new name for it. So come watch us play some Holler. And next week back to Mothership on Friday, and in 2 weeks we'll be back with more Hunter. So thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who hung out to the end. As weepy as Matt, Australis, thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and raid our friends over at the Defenders. Ashley dropped it already. Yeah, if you haven't heard, we've partnered up with our friends over at Norse Foundry, and we are Yeah, that's why we're rolling a lot of physical dice. We're moving into the physical dice thing again. But if you want to
Yeah.
get your own set of awesome Norse Foundry dice, you can use a promo code LOLLY, so they know you came from one of our streams to get 10% off your order. So go check that out, NorseFoundry.com. You can find some awesome stuff. And that's exactly what Steven brought me. He brought me some Norse Foundry dice. They're not going to look great, but I'll show it nice. It's weird how I was testing out the D12 and it only comes up 11s. And 11, if you don't know, on a D12 for One Ring just happens to be the best thing you can roll for a GM. So I don't know. I think the Shadow's going to win. All right, so we're gonna rate our Friends Over Defenders. I started it up, so go ahead and follow and watch what they're doing as they're playing. I think they're playing some DCC. Chuck's got a new game going, Dead Sun.
Black Hole Sun.
That's it. So good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out for so long.
Bye, guys.
All right.
See you.
Bye.